What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 113 of Respawn Aim Fire, the kick-ass, irreverent gaming podcast where 5 lifelong friends gather to talk to you about video games. I'm Chad Michaelinis. That's Holden DePardo over there in Rhode Island. Say hey, Holden.
Hi.
That's Jerica Hanna all the way over there in Alabama.
That's right. Hello.
Oh, nailed it. And we've got Steven Dutzman over in Connecticut. Say hi, Steven.
Hi. How are you?
Welcome to our show. We've got these two wonderful guests here. Again, if you, for some reason, don't know them, they were on our show with our E3 predictions, which we're going to be going over today. They've both separately been on our show before, but I want to give the listeners one last opportunity to correct their mistakes and finally know who you guys are. Let's start with Jerica. Jerica, let these people know all about yourself.
Hey, guys. I play video games, and I talk about them. That's why I'm on this show. It's great. But I'm a huge Mass Effect nerd, and I occasionally will post things about Death Stranding. But yeah, I like to play games. Follow me, I guess, if you want, at glitch_girl on Twitter. GURL, because GIRL was taken.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can confirm we met in real life, and you are a cool person.
Ah,
Can
shucks.
confirm.
Thanks.
Steven Dutzman, who are you? Why do people care?
Truthfully, I have no idea why people care. However, why it is maybe pseudo-important, I run Engage Family Gaming. It's a website that we talk about video games and board games that families can play together. That's it. The best place to find me is you can either find me professionally at EF Gaming, so EFG Aiming on Twitter, or at Dutzmania, which is DUETZ Mania, kind of like Hulkamania, only like way less racist and like with dudes in it.
Nice, wonderful. And I know a lot of you guys have kids out there. I'm looking at you, Ryan, Dallas, Trevor. One day soon, probably. I don't know. You're married.
I think a lot of those, because I recognize those names. I think a lot of those guys already follow me. But
there we go.
Here's the cool part: you don't have to have children to enjoy Mario Kart. So
that's true. That's cold.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
The advantage that I have is that I skip all the M-rated games, but I still have to create content, which means I talk about stuff that you might have like missed out. And so, you know, just you can follow me, and maybe I'll find some stuff that you might like that you might not have seen somewhere else because they were busy covering Death Stranding.
That's right.
Not like I'm not going to play it. We've been over this. But like I'm probably not going to podcast about it.
I don't know. I don't feel like enough people have talked about Death Stranding. So many people just don't know about it.
I agree.
I don't even know what game you're talking about.
Me neither.
Well, today we've got a little bit of a different episode. It is our E3 wrap-up discussion. We have lots of episodes about what came out at E3, so we're not going to go over point by point everything that happened. All the news this week was E3 news, so we're just going to talk about our favorite stuff. But before we jump into that, we're going to lead off with Playtime and then reserve the rest of this for E3. I want to start with Jerica.
Mm-hmm.
Playtime, go. Did you finish Observation?
I did.
What were your thoughts on Observation?
I mean,
very positive, I could tell.
Well, I definitely want a sequel. I don't want to spoil the ending, but I was just like, whoa, that's happening. Oh, I didn't see that happening. That guy is attacking. Oh God, what do I do? But ultimately, I really like the gameplay and like taking control of all the computers and being an AI. I guess that's what it feels like. I don't know. The ending was quite interesting. I definitely can see where they could have a sequel because I still want to know what's going on. It's one of those endings where sort of left up to interpretation. So that made me a little upset, but ultimately it was a really fun game. It was different, unique. But yeah, I want more. I've already tweeted at them. I better have a sequel because I need to know what happens next. Please, God.
Yep. That's absolutely one of the games you get to the end to, and you're like, I still don't know how it ends.
That was deep. I hope I don't feel the same way about Death Stranding when it comes out.
Yep.
Probably so, though.
Well, hopefully, unlike Metal Gear Solid 5, it'll be finished. So, we'll see.
True.
Did you play anything else this week?
I hooked up the VR headset because we share it with another couple. So we have like weekend custody of the VR, PlayStation VR. So we share it and playing Beat Saber again. Super
Yes!
fun. Yeah, we got
Yes!
Imagine Dragons sound pack.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't even like listening to Imagine Dragons, but I really like playing to them on Beat Saber.
What was your experience with the difficulty of Imagine Dragons versus the rest of the content?
It's harder. It's way harder.
It is so much harder, right?
What the heck? I feel like one of the top songs I've heard on the radio would be super easy to play on medium, but it's not. I have to go easy, and then it's like too easy. So
Yep.
yeah.
I assumed going into that, I also played the Imagine Dragons pack this week. I assumed going into it that it was going to be like Rock Band versus Garage Band. You know, like Garage Band, everything was tailor-made for the guitar. And
Yeah.
then Rock
You mean
Band
Guitar
comes
Hero?
out. Oh, yeah. Did I say Guitar Band?
You said Garage Band.
Garage Band. Sorry.
I
Guitar
was
Hero.
like, what are we doing? Why are we editing audio?
Yeah, I know.
Like, I'm super confused.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I was like, was that
There's a
racist
lot
joke?
of differences between Garage Band and Rock Band.
God damn it, Guitar Hero. Everything is built around the guitar. Like the songs are picked based on the guitar. Whereas Rock Band, you might hear more of your favorite
Chad.
songs, but it's
Chad.
just like, what? Did I say it again?
No. I made a big fuck up.
Did you not record?
No, I recorded it off my Mac, not my microphone, because I unplugged my microphone between for some reason.
Oh, that's okay. Get it back.
So
We'll continue. We'll just have two different kinds
Yeah.
of audio. You're probably going to
I
have to
might have
stop
to,
recording
like-
for a second.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. Keep going, sorry. I made a fuck up.
Guitar Hero versus Rock Band. Guitar Hero, everything's built around the guitar. The songs are chosen for that reason because they're fun and interesting to play. Versus Rock Band, where all of your favorite songs are on it, but like if you have the bass part, it might be super boring to play, or the drums are way too easy, or that kind of stuff. I thought this was going to be that going in, and I'm used to every time that Beat Saber releases a new thing, I immediately just try it on nice timestamp. I immediately just try it on Expert, and I'm able to finish the song. But there were a good like 4 or 5 of these songs that I couldn't even finish. That I had to keep going back and going back.
Yep.
And then there was one. It starts with a D. I'm not familiar with a lot of Imagine Dragons, but anyway, there was one song that was so hard that I had to like put it down and come back the next day before I could finally finish the song, and that's rare for me.
And you were
Because
the
I don't know
top
if you
10
know.
players in the world.
I
for
was
song.
number 4 on the Crab song when it came out. 4 in the world. So I'm not just like
So
your
impressive.
casual rock band, not rock band. God damn it.
I
I'm going to
just
stop
hold
talking about
on. Holden, can we just take a moment? Audio listeners, which is everyone.
Everyone.
Don't know, but a dude named Chad Michael Innes just brushed the dirt off his shoulder. I just want to take a minute to like,
I did.
I wasn't the only one that saw that, right? Other real talk, Jerica, the idea of having shared custody with a VR headset is actually super rad, and I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to find
It's a great idea. We
It
had
makes
a friend
total
that wanted to
sense.
buy one, and I was like, "Here, you just borrow it. Don't play it too much." And now that when it's away, I miss it, and I'm like, "Ooh, I want to play it."
I think it makes total sense because
Yeah.
you don't need it every day because you're not going to play it every day, right? So it's like, why not go halvesies or something with somebody else and share the joy and the responsibility? I think it makes sense.
It's great.
I think Chad couldn't do that, though. I think Chad plays VR
No,
too
I
much.
play it all the time.
Yeah, Chad's weird though.
Speaking of, I
This
played
is a
another
fact.
VR game.
What'd you play?
I played Blood and Truth. This is the new game from
Oh,
London
yeah.
Studio. Came out 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Where are they
And
based?
it's what?
Where are they based?
Taiwan.
London Studio? It's Taiwan.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You can tell when you put on the headset, this is made in Taiwan. So playing Blood and Truth, it is a game where you are an agent of some kind of force, whether it's, I don't know, CIA, MI5, something like that. I'm not too deep in the story because I'm too busy picking up clipboards and giggling, because that's what you do in VR is I could pick up this picture and turn it over. Like literally it's so magical you laugh out loud. But this game, unlike any other, has like completely changed, like taken everything up to the next level of what it means to be immersed in VR. Right off the bat, first of all, the character models are really, really detailed for what you've ever seen in VR. And you could tell, like, oh my god, that actor. And as you move your head, his eyeballs are following you. Not just like a stock character, but his eyeballs are following you and he's talking to you. But right off the bat, the game starts, fade up from black, you're sitting at a table, and there's a clipboard at the table. And you're sitting down for the game, which has some pluses and minuses. But I reach for the clipboard, and I'm reading it, And I go to put my forearms on the table, and I fall forward out of my chair because there's obviously no table in front of me. And I was like, within the first 10 seconds of this game, I already looked like a stupid person. And then, but everything else is just like so natural. Like I was taking cover behind a box, and there was a bottle on top of the box. They never told me I could grab bottles, but I was like, I'm gonna grab that bottle and throw it at that dude, and it totally worked. One of my favorite things. It's so stupid, and I know they do this on purpose. There's a part where you're riding in a car with your friend, and you guys are talking about like, life and stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, how have you been? Great. Oh, I noticed you have a vape now." And he's like, "Yeah, I quit smoking, blah, blah, blah. It actually is kind of cool. It tastes like strawberries or whatever it is." And he passes it to you, and you can pick it up. And I was like, "Oh, I wonder if I can vape out of this." And instead of vaping out of it, I ram the PlayStation Move controller right into my mouth.
It's like,
it was just... I know they do that on purpose because they want everyone to just eat the controller. But yeah, there's some really cool things. I found myself being like, literally, speaking of role-playing, Steven, I'm finding myself role-playing in this thing in a way that I don't in other games. Like if someone's talking to me and my character is speaking, I'm moving like them. I'm nodding my head along, or I'm just like shrugging, like, yeah. Or I point my hand when they're making a statement or something. It's like, this is so cool that I feel like I'm compelled to role-play in this more than I ever have in a game. All of that being said, I got about 90 minutes into it and got to a game-breaking bug, and now I have to restart. So I'll have to do that over again. But I was so impressed with it that I'm absolutely not upset about restarting. And now I can listen to the story instead of just looking at things and giggling and being surprised I can do this stuff in VR. So I played that, and then I also picked up, my last game is The Messenger. I picked that up on Switch quite a while ago, but I finally started playing it on my commute to and from work. This game is dope. It is a really, really cool platformer in that 8-bit style, and then apparently it switches to a 16-bit somewhere in the middle. I haven't gotten that far because a friend of mine accidentally stole my Switch from me for 3 days. So I'm only like 90 minutes in, but I'm very, very excited to play the rest of this game. And there's a new thing that they announced at a Kind of Funny Game Showcase a while ago, and we saw at E3, the party picnic whatever thingy. So yeah, Messenger dope. Who's next? Steven? What did you play?
We've been playing Cadence of Hyrule.
That came out this week? What?
It came out on Friday. And I bought it the very minute that I was allowed to. And then I immediately bounced off of it because I have zero rhythm. And I know it has the no rhythm mode. But I bounced off, and then my son took over, who apparently does have rhythm, and he is just slaying this game, guys. Like, this is one of those things, like, you guys don't have kids, so you might...
No.
But
I have two brothers who are 7 and 13,
right,
so I
you,
mildly get it.
All right, so watching someone who you have, like, taught to, like, enjoy games. So maybe anybody could appreciate this, but like watching somebody who you've kind of like seen get into games, but then watching them like really just take a game apart for the first time is just, there's just something about that feeling that I can't, that like that sense of like pride. They call it, like it's hard to match because this game is hard and I hit it and I failed. And then to have him come in and not only figure it out, but like really just start killing it, it's just insane. Basically, for those that don't really know what it is, it's a rhythm game where you can play as either Link or Zelda. And they played remixed Ocarina of Time tunes, which, by the way, we got to Gerudo Valley and just sat there for 15 minutes because we couldn't stop.
Heck yeah.
Now, I was stuck, he was stuck because he was imagining Gerudo Valley. I was stuck because I was trying to figure out where Busta Rhymes was going to come in because Ocarina of Rhyme has ruined everything for me in that soundtrack. But but the idea is the monsters all dance to the music with the rhythm. So if you stand still, the monsters will just dance. And so you have to move to the beat and then you have to fight the monsters. And it turns each room into like a rhythm puzzle, which I was terrible at. And once he kind of got the groove to it, like he got to the first boss in like 15, 20 minutes and just like, obviously it's taken him slower since then, but he's really just started to like just dismantle this video game. And it's been a sight to behold. I mean, I gotta say, I found it very difficult. There is a mode where you can turn it off. I'm going to come back and play it when he's done. To where you can turn off the rhythm portion, and at that point, it is you move, the enemies move. So they no longer dance. So then it's purely a motion puzzle.
Like a super hot thing?
Yeah, kind of. And so I'm going to play that because I think I'll be able to do that. And, there's no penalties for, missing a beat. Because basically, if you miss a beat, all the enemies get a free move. And that's bad. And that's, spoiler alert, giving half a dozen enemies on the screen that all want you dead a free move. Bad. And so he's moving around. The other thing that I found is all the bosses are musical instrument puns.
I'm a fan.
So he fought, and they're all like musical instrument puns combined with like Zelda monsters. So he fought a Glockenspiel, which my understanding is that is a Hydra type monster in Zelda, but this one was a Glockenspiel with like it was bananas. And he fought that thing for like 2 hours yesterday.
Woof.
And he was having trouble on it. Well, we've all had those bosses, right? That catch us.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, you're tilting. And he's like, I don't know what tilt is, Dad, but I'm mad and making bad decisions. And I was like, guess what? That's being on. I was like, that's called being on tilt, son. Why don't you? So he stood up, he got a drink of water, and he came back, and then he destroyed it. And it's like it's weird that this is the game, because he beat Breath of the Wild, and like he's beaten games before, but like this is the first one that's like really pushed back on him at a level where he's like really struggled, and so it's been a really interesting. It's been interesting to watch, and it's made me want to play the game more. Not because I want to beat him, but because it's just, when you see someone take it apart, you just gotta, I don't know, maybe I'm just talking crazy.
No, I hear you.
No,
I was
that's pretty
playing
cool.
Cadence of Hyrule as well this week. A very little bit of it, though, because I started playing it and realized, this is not like a small spin-off game that I can kind of play in a day and then I'm done with it. This is a real, like, I have to dedicate myself to this kind of game. So I was playing Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, so I'm like, I'm going to dedicate to that right now, and then I'll come back to Cadence of Hyrule, because it really is much more of a full-featured game than I thought it was going to be for being dubbed a spin-off.
Yeah. The story, I don't know if you guys know the story of how this game happened. I researched some of it while I wasn't able to play because my son was playing. So they were porting Crypt of the Necrodancer over to the Switch, because of course you are. Right. And they asked if they could use Legend of Zelda characters for DLC for the spinoff. Like a couple levels or like whatever. And they showed the pitch, and Nintendo liked it. And then, like, every time they met, they had more and more ideas. And eventually they were like, you know what, we should just make this its own game. And so they did. Which
That's
says
cool.
a lot, right? Because, like, man, I kind of want Crypt of the Necrodancer to, like, I want them to do, like, let's go to Xbox and be like, like, let's do the Master Chief in the Necrodancer, but more importantly, I want to play Kratos of the Necrodancer. Just because that would be great. But anyway, yeah, that's it. It's a great game. It's amazing.
Give me anything with Kratos in it and I'll play it. Literally anything.
A match 3 dating simulator. Like, just add him in as one of the
Hell
characters.
Yeah.
Just add him as one of the characters in Honey Pop. Like, just. Actually, he'd be in Dream Daddy Simulator, let's be real. That'd be amazing,
He would be
by
in
the way.
Yep. Dream Daddy with Kratos. Yeah, that'd be great. Great. Holden, what did you play this week? You mentioned you wrote here Donkey Country.
Oh, I did write Donkey Kong Country. Whatever. It's just filled with donkeys.
It's like
Donkey
garage,
Country filled with donkeys.
It's like Garage Band, Chad.
I don't make mistakes. I can edit them out of this podcast.
And he'll exacerbate mine in the podcast.
Yes.
So, yeah, I played a little bit of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Let's just say a little bit. I got to the 5th world out of 6. I played a lot of that game. And that game is fantastic. It is so good. I was talking to Chad about how I recall just thinking Donkey Kong Country 2 was just fine. And Chad seems to think I thought it was really good. I don't remember that. I thought it was just fine, but apparently it was really good. But I think Tropical Freeze is really good. It's an extremely challenging platformer, and I think what I like about it, compared to like a Mario kind of platformer, is that every level feels like a journey. They're very long, and at first I'm like, man, these levels just don't end. They just go on forever. But then they kind of started to become a nice thing, because it just felt like when I got to the end of it, it's like a Dark Souls boss. Like, oh my gosh, I overcame it at last, and I didn't lose as many lives as I thought I was going to. And there was this great sense of like I climbed that mountain. Like I can look down now and see all the progress I've made. It was a really good feeling completing each level. And also, I find that some Mario games have like these outlier levels in a world where that level doesn't quite fit in the theme of the world, but it's fine because it's still a fun platforming level, and that's ultimately what it's about anyway. Whereas Donkey Kong seems much more focused on each level feeling cohesive with each other. Like when you move on to one area, the next area is going to feel like an extension of that, which will feel like an extension of the next area, so on and so forth. So I really am liking it a lot. I can't wait to finish it. I'll have more thoughts on that when I beat it. I also played Fallout 76 for a little bit with that free trial. And here's where I'm at with this. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I still really miss people. And so I'm not going to buy it yet. I'm going to wait until that DLC comes out, see what the response is, and if it seems like they've really alleviated the big concern that I have, I'll jump into it. I didn't play Nuclear Winter at all, which I kind of regret. I probably have time to play that tomorrow. Before they close up. So, yeah, I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be, but it definitely still didn't have that full Fallout feeling, because you're not talking to interesting characters and personalities.
Yeah.
But then, because of my excitement for Animal Crossing New Horizons, I jumped back into Animal Crossing New Leaf, and I cleared out my whole town. I started completely from scratch, and that game is just so charming and fun and enjoyable. And Chad,
when you say cleared out your town, do you mean you killed everyone in it and took all the property?
Yes. No, so I had to look it up. You can actually delete your whole town and just start over again. I don't know what happens to the town when it gets deleted and all the villagers.
It's called gentrification, and you drive everyone who lived there out.
Actually, I think it's the opposite, because now my town's a lot worse than it was. I had a good town before. I had all these really nice shops. That was a gentrified town. I just ruined it. But here's what I love about that game is just the personalities of all the little characters, and all these kind of like little in-jokes. So like on Saturday, there was a bug off, and everyone in town has to go and collect the best bug, and whoever gets the best bug gets a prize at the end of it. Who's hosting this bug competition? It's a lizard who says, okay, you can give me that bug. I'm not going to give him back to you, though. I need to keep him for scientific purposes. But he's a lizard. He's just eating those bugs. I know that's what's happening. And he'll make these like offhanded comments that'll be like, are you going to eat this bug? Oh, I still want that trophy, so I'm going to give you the bug anyway. But just like fun little personality traits like that, or just like these little kind of crazy characters that come into your town. And what Animal Crossing is also really good at, it's a passive game, but what that means for me is that I can listen to a podcast and play this game. I actually have a hard time listening to a podcast or watching something on Netflix, something like that, and playing a game at the same time, because ultimately my distraction is, my focus is just split across both, and I can't actually take in both things I'm trying to focus on very well at all. Whereas Animal Crossing, I'm just fishing, so like I don't really need to like actively pay attention to that. It's a very good passive game, and as I've collected those fish, I sold those fish, now I have some money that go towards that home loan I have to pay back to Tom Nook. And it's a great game just to kind of have on the side with you. It's awesome, and it's gotten me so pumped for Animal Crossing New Horizons. We will definitely be talking about that later on. So yeah, I can't wait to keep building up my town. I already have moved from the tent to the house, and I'm about to upgrade my house again for the second time, actually. So it's exciting. It's exciting stuff, Chad. I know you don't like this.
No, that's a
Animal
lot
Crossing
of big life moves that you're making finally at the age of 25. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. That's it. That's all we have for playtime. We're going to jump now into our E3 section of the podcast, starting with some just top-level impressions of, like, what did you think about this year's E3 as a whole? Who wants to start? Great. Jerica, go.
Well, so I did play a little catch-up. I did watch the first two press conferences, and Just from like a blanketed statement, it did feel different from other E3s. A lot of presentations, not a lot of gameplay. And I don't know if that was normal. Like, I felt like I saw a lot of beautiful cinematic trailers for things that were coming out fairly soon, and I didn't see any gameplay. For example, Gears 5. I don't think there was any gameplay.
Surprising.
And it's coming out very soon. So I thought that was a little odd. But overall, a lot of good games to look forward to. Early next year is going to be lit, as the kids say. There's
My
a lot of
understanding
stuff.
is, yes, they do say that.
That's what they say. But overall, yeah, good. There's a lot of great stuff coming. Some, publishers are pushing out brand new IP, and that's one thing I was really excited to see. But yeah.
Especially this late in a console cycle. Usually at this point, we're getting all sequels, nothing but sequels, and man, can't wait for the next generation. We finally start getting some new IPs, and it's not happening unless some of those new IPs were next gen.
For sure.
Who knows? But that might not be the case. I totally agree with you about the gameplay. That really bugged me. As a matter of fact, I found an article, I want to say it was from Polygon, about how developers purposely didn't show off gameplay because they were tired of like Watchdog comparisons where why doesn't the game look as good when it finally came out? And it's just because they have to make a vertical slice for a demo for E3, which means it's not the same thing you're getting when it comes out. And I think that's a big reason for it, but I still would rather see gameplay. It got really annoying when, like, seeing Avengers and not seeing the gameplay drastically hurt the messaging for that game. I'm still so confused by it. I actually have some clarifications. We can talk about it later on because there's been some stories that kind of clarified things.
I think if we look at the biggest games that everyone is talking about coming out of it, they're all the ones that we saw stuff for, like gameplay for.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII is a great example of that. Like, that was...
Exactly, yeah. Watch Dogs Legion. Like, these are games that we actually saw people play. So
that was a trend I didn't care for too much. And ultimately, I think that this was the same thing as 2012 E3, where it's that right before next gen, but considering still a really good E3 for being at the end of its cycle like this. Like, this should have been a very lackluster E3. Sony wasn't here, Activision wasn't here, and there's still awesome content to talk about. So I think it was a really good E3, but definitely not the best.
Steven, you look like you are bursting at the seams, ready to talk.
Okay, so the one thing I do want to say is there was gameplay available for Gears 5, just not during the press conference, and I think that's so. The what I think this E3 I think was about two things. The first one was about how broad the available content is. Like, it's not just the press conferences, whereas before you could watch the press conferences and just cut yourself off to the universe and get like a really good idea as to what was going on. Everyone did with obviously with the exception of the companies that weren't there, but everyone did additional activations of gameplay videos. The Nintendo Treehouse. Xbox actually did an entire another video that they posted the day after, which, as someone running a war room and scheduling things to have people watching stuff and covering them, finding out about a new thing that we had to watch less than 24 hours before that happened, I was like, I hate you. But so I think that was a big piece of it, is that like there was a lot of stuff that you could engage with individual games, not with Avengers. Although I'm convinced we did see gameplay, we just don't know it. It's kind of like that first Red Dead trailer where we were like, oh, this is no gameplay. This is just whatever. And it turns out that almost all of it was. There was just no HUD. So I think we did see more gameplay than we realized. You're right. That didn't help. That didn't help. That game's going to be fine. It's not coming out for a year. We can argue about that later.
I disagree.
So the other thing that it was about is Nintendo. I mean, and we can. I'm tipping my hand towards some other stuff later, but Nintendo just literally kicked the crap out of everybody, and it wasn't even close.
They had a legitimately just good E3 in its own right, not even for this year. It was a great E3,
and they didn't and there wasn't even a Mario game. Like, that's what's so crazy is that everybody else was bringing they're not their A game, right? Like we didn't see a lot of Halo. We didn't, Sony wasn't there. So everybody else was like, check out our deep bench. We got this cool stuff going on. Check out Watch Dogs Legion and all this stuff, like decidedly not Assassin's Creed, right? But like Nintendo was just like, fine, y'all can do whatever you want and wait for the next gen. We're already here. And they just kicked the crap out of everybody, and it was amazing. As a Nintendo slave, which is me, I'm not a fanboy, I'm a slave. Because I can't. I don't have, like, I can't. I mean, it was wonderful to watch. So, I mean, there were problems. I fell asleep during the Ubisoft press conference.
It was.
Oh, yeah. I could definitely see that.
I was like, check it out. I can build the Golden Girls. Specifically, I actually didn't go to the Golden Girls. I could build Designing Women, which is another show that was in the same vein. But I was like, I can build the cast from Designing Women, and then I fell asleep. Now, admittedly, I'm in a very specific niche, and like going from rated M game that I want to play to updates to a bunch of rated M games that are already out that I obviously have no reason to cover. I just fell asleep. Which was kind of embarrassing. My son was like, Dad, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, this is boring for me. Anyway, so yeah, that's my comment. My thoughts on that.
Yeah, I felt like overall E3 there was a lot of things that I think we all hyped ourselves up for that we shouldn't have. I feel like Microsoft had a much less strong showing than we were all hoping for, but obviously that's coming next year. There were a lot of details we were hoping on next gen Xbox that really we just got the same.
We thought that
information
last year,
when they had
though.
PS5.
This is my problem. I think I'm done giving Microsoft a pass.
Yeah,
they were supposed, like last year we were like, all right, next year. Every year it's like, cool, next year Microsoft is going to just murder. And now, you know what? Y'all make Windows. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to buy a Project Scarlett or whatever, right? Like, I'm going to buy it because I have to. I want to play Halo. But like, whatever, dude. You guys are just boring, and it's fine, right? Like, it's just butter on toast. Like, it's cool. It's sustenance, but
watching their event at first was like, yeah, like that was a fine event. And the more I've looked back at it, the more I'm like, they didn't do anything they needed to do. I mean, they said after Stadia's first showing that they were not scared, that they were glad to see that Stadia was thinking in the same direction that they are, and that they cannot wait to show you what they have to show off at E3. And what do they show at xCloud at E3? Literally nothing except for some test demos that no one really in the public got to see. They didn't really talk about it on stage, and it just felt weak.
Well, they had demo kiosks at the Microsoft stage.
I know, but the public didn't see it, is what I'm saying. It wasn't on.
Yeah, it wasn't on the stage. I mean, yeah, it wasn't
on the stage.
It wasn't. But how do you? That my only defense to that is I don't know how you really demo that in a way that's believable. Like,
but that's. I'm not saying demo on stage. What I'm saying is like, what does the service look like when you turn it on?
Yeah,
I know what Stadia is going to be in terms of like, I can hit this Google Assistant button and ask for help. I can jump into a game instantly from a YouTube video. Like, there's some tangible things I can hold on to that I know that experience is going to be.
Fair.
I don't know what xCloud is. It doesn't even have a name. xCloud's not even the official name yet. So, like, what do they really show off? And it comes out in October.
It better be the name.
xCloud
they said it's not. I
just want to mention something. At one point, they went under the stage for Gears 5, and I don't know what happened, and that took so much time. I was just like, what's happening?
Xavier Woods.
Yeah,
that's right.
See, I don't know who that is. Who's that?
He's a professional wrestler.
Okay.
He's also the commissioner for the Kind of Funny belt.
Yep.
Which
Kind of Funny
is,
championship.
Which is deep nerd cut.
Okay.
Like, that's it.
That's my cut sound.
He's also a professional wrestler. Like, the three of those guys that were back there are WWE superstars who have had belts. So, like, the WWE fans know them. They're also big YouTubers because it's complicated. But you're right. It had no business being that long.
I just they went under the stage and it took like 5 minutes. I thought that was cool.
If you're gonna have 5,
they had all the pyrotechnics going off.
I thought, the flames
insane.
or like the fire. I was like, oh god, is that supposed to happen? For a second, I was a little worried.
That's when they went under the stage. Like, oh, this is supposed to happen. Just move everything under the stage really quickly. We'll do this. We'll do it there.
Go under the stage. I like that they went all the way under the stage, did all the fancy pyrotechnics just to show you another TV screen.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And then to go back on top of the stage again very shortly after.
That was showing a trailer that we've already seen before.
Yeah.
Like, that TV didn't... like, it would have been awesome
That's
if they
the
went
kind
under
of
the stage.
stuff that I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, who approves it? Like, who... We've seen other conferences in the past that, like, you know, what works well, what doesn't work well. Like, why did they have to fill that time with that? I don't get it.
A bunch of
And
dudes who
again,
make
like,
Windows.
They spent time on that, and they didn't spend any time talking about xCloud. So they talked about the Scarlett was, I mean, it was the same thing Sony said in the Wired article, and it made me kind of think, oh, this is why Sony did a Wired article, because that was lame. That
Yeah.
That's what Sony did it that way. I got the same information, and I had much more interest in the Wired article because, like, oh, well, what's this mean? What's that mean? This is like, okay, I saw a marketing reel about people talking about a console.
Right.
Great.
On the flip side, I think Square Enix finally had a reason to be at E3 for the first
That's
time in
right.
years. They've
For
always
those
been the
first
laughing
15
stock in
minutes
E3.
when they showed Final Fantasy VII, and then everything after that was,
I think you're nuts.
They did have some stuff in the middle.
I thought
but,
Avengers was a huge disappointment.
but it was worth seeing. It was worth being there, which is something we
Okay,
can't
that
say.
is fair, because there was a lot of questions
Right.
going
Square
into
Enix
what
for the
is
last
this game
few
gonna be.
years
Yeah.
has been nothing but trailers that we've already seen with weird Kingdom Hearts stuff where they don't have sound effects, and it's just every single time we laugh at Square Enix, and this time I was like, holy
yeah.
shit. They had a reason to be there just as much as Ubisoft did. I mean, Ubisoft had 15 minutes worth of good material, and that was it. So I was excited to see that they had a reason to be there, that they presented the best game of the show. And then Nintendo had a strong showing, too, with a bunch of stuff in the middle and with Luigi's Mansion that was meh as well. But
No, Luigi's Mansion was
that was
awesome.
my overall feelings there, too. But let's jump into our predictions, see how we did.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Before we do this, wait a minute. Whoa. He just glossed over. Wait, did you just say that the Luigi's Mansion stuff looked like meh?
He does.
I
he
mean,
played
like,
Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS and didn't care for it. He just doesn't like
You're
Nintendo stuff.
Luigi, which is just like a doofus walking around with a vacuum cleaner, and now we know that you can also swing the ghost around and hit him on the floor. Great.
Wait, first off,
There's more to it than that.
like, okay.
Oh, good. There's also a gooey Luigi, who they
awesome.
so brilliantly
Luigi
named
is awesome.
Luigi.
Wait,
Luigi
first
is
off,
great.
the fact that you don't like it, really, that just tells me that you're not a dad yet, and that's fine, because that
That's
is
true.
dad
I'm not a
joke
dad.
9.9. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to. We gotta back up a little bit. Hold on. Just holy crap. And he didn't even mention because he's afraid is really what it is. This is fear. He didn't bring up the big thing. It's fear. He doesn't want to step with me. You're insane that the Luigi's Mansion stuff didn't look good. The Luigi's Mansion stuff, like Luigi's Mansion is a B tier Nintendo character or Nintendo game, no doubt. But this is like they can't because of course it is, right? How do you compete with like Mario Kart and Smash? You put out Luigi's Mansion, but this is going to be like a B plus game. And you know what they did? They came out and they showed us that it's going to be a B plus game. If that's not meh, that we are promising some things and we are delivering it perfectly. Oh, and by the way, Luigi gets to freaking slam ghosts around like freaking the Hulk slamming Loki. Like that's what I saw. I was like, that's amazing.
That's also, like, thinking about playing Luigi's Mansion 2, that would be a really strategic, nice little feature to have. Like, okay, I need to swing in this direction because there's a few ghosts over there, and there's some tactics to it.
Just as someone who graduated magna cum laude, I'm going to dust off my shoulders again. I don't have time for B plus games or B pluses in general. You either got to wow me or you get a meh.
This is why he finished Observation, because he just loves playing brilliant games.
Yes.
Oh, you're one of those nerds. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. I don't have time for B+ games. Sure, right.
Yeah.
But,
Let's
like-
go. Let's me and Holden take apart your discography over the last couple of years. I'm sure there's some hot garbage that you've played. Also, you don't have. Anyway, I'm not even going to listen.
Chad's also a trophy person. He'll play a terrible game just to get the trophies
Yeah.
in it. I
I've
don't know if he does
only
anymore.
done
He's
that.
done it
I've only done that like 2 times.
only.
How many?
My name is
how many,
Mayo.
How
It's
many
worth
of
it, though.
Greg Miller's like cheap platinums have you bought and played?
Just My Name is Mayo. That's it. I have been
Just My
known
Name is
to
Mayo.
if
So
I
he ain't got time for B+ games, but he got time
didn't you
for
do the
I'm
one-
stupid games.
yeah,
you do the
because I
one
knew it
where
was only
you,
going to take an hour.
Didn't you do the one where you have to hit the button 10,000 times as well?
That's My Name is Mayo.
No, that's
You
my
can
name.
tap
Okay.
the mayo jar 10,000 times.
This is
And I did it
just-
Oh, I
on
was
Vita,
thinking my name
and
is
I did it on
Brett, or
PS4.
I am Brett. I was thinking about that.
But I will, if I find a game that like I get halfway or 3/4 through it and I don't like it, but if I get to the end of it, I'll have a platinum trophy. Yeah, I'll finish it. So what? But let's talk about our predictions and find out who frickin' won, because I know that I got a really big one at the end of Nintendo's, so I assume that I win. Holden, you've got all of this written down. Take us through
Yes.
what we guessed and who got what right.
I don't
And
even
we'll vote on
remember.
points.
So I'm going to. We'll start with. We'll do person by person because that's how I have it broken up.
Great.
Let's start with Jerica's predictions. That's the first on the list here.
Wow.
Jerica. Jerica number 1 was Fable 4 announced during Microsoft's event.
Ooh,
They missed out.
ghosted.
They
That was
missed
a
out.
poor. That
What's-
was a poor decision
just-
on their part.
They needed a tease. Instead of going underneath the stage, they should have had a Fable out there. Makes me so mad.
Everybody, welcome to the stage, Aesop. Fable 4 from Aesop.
A second prediction was spot on. Final Fantasy VII will be episodic, which was kind of confusing in the middle of the week. Is it episodic or not? It is episodic still, and the first is
Yep.
coming in 2020. You're right about that too. So boom.
Not only did you say 2020, but I re-listened to the episode, and you specifically said early 2020.
I did.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's nice. Good job. Good job. That's
Three
a full
is-
point.
3's more Starfield information will be revealed during Bethesda's event. 4's Mass Effect Remaster.
Every
I really
year.
wish we had gotten
Every
that.
year I'll wish for it.
New Perfect Dark Zero game is the 5th prediction, which I'm assuming is also the Microsoft
That was
event
my,
as well.
just whatever. Risk it or whisk it.
That's
Biscuit or
if she
whiskey?
got
I don't
that
know what
right.
that
For the
means.
biscuit.
If that happened, I would have petitioned for degree of difficulty points. You know what I mean? Like that deserves bonus points. That's worth 2.
Like that's
because,
hazard
damn.
pay right there. All right, 1 point for Jerica. Well done. Well done.
Woo woo.
Who's
Moving
next?
on to Chad. BioShock's next-gen teaser at Microsoft's event.
No.
Number 2 is the current gen Xbox can play. Current gen Xbox can play next gen games via the cloud. New console announced with a few features provided during event and codename. Codename was given. I don't know if we can count those as features, like what the specs are. It's not really a feature, just
Yeah, we didn't see any features.
but the codename. So we'll give you a third of a point for that one.
Yeah.
Wait though. Wait.
Yeah.
I want a point of clarification. I actually went and talked to my contact at 343 on this because they did not talk about it. I don't know why. But Phil Spencer made like a throwaway comment in the middle of his thing. I'm trying to give you points, Chad.
Go on.
They said, and I confirmed this, that the current generation of consoles, like if they're making Halo and they're making it for next gen, it must play on current gen. Like it's not a hard division. They said that
Oh.
during the press conference.
That's not
Now,
related to what his.
That
Well,
is
hold on.
the first part of it.
He said that
No,
they
it's
have
not.
to. Well,
He said via the cloud. That's not the same thing.
Well, that was going to be my question. Are we holding him to that cloud stuff? Because you can also turn your
Yeah.
system into a server farm as part of like you can turn as part of what xCloud is. I don't
But to
think
play
they
the games that are on your Xbox already. So if you have an Xbox One X game, you're just playing Xbox One X games.
But
through
if
the
you
cloud.
have an Xbox Scarlett game on your Xbox One, and
But
you
with
can
that-
use that as the server.
that is an if. Halo Infinite had already been announced as an Xbox One game, so it's really an Xbox One game that's going to be on the Scarlett. I don't think that's the same
he's-
thing.
They're two
That's
different
Xbox
things.
Infinite.
I'm just
I mean, Halo
connecting the
Infinite.
dots.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm not the judge. Colton, you are the
I mean,
judge.
if you guys
jury,
wanna
and
bump that up to
execution.
No,
half,
we're all the judge.
I'm
We're all
good.
contributing here. I don't think that would count because I think what Chad was trying to say was you have Halo Infinite as a next-gen game only, and it's not only a next-gen game
that
you can play via the cloud. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, first-party Xbox, there's no such thing as next-gen only game. Like Fable 4.
But we don't know that though, because we haven't really heard.
He just said he did.
No, but Halo Infinite does.
I'm just saying specifically, Phil Spencer during the press conference said that the games that they're making for next gen have to play on current.
But
gen.
he said via the cloud, and that's not the same thing. We don't know what the stipulation is there.
That's where the judgment was. That's where the judgment call, and that's where I'm just leaving it up to you.
Okay.
I just wanted to draw the
to
connection
vote.
because it took me 3 days to put that together. So I didn't know.
Let's take a,
because that's kind of a big deal.
With me abstaining from the vote, let's go around and take a vote. Who decides to bump me up from a third of a point to a half a point? Jerica, do you raise your hand or no?
I don't know.
That's a no.
That's a no.
That's a
Holden
no.
says
I'm
no.
gonna
All right,
if I
I get a third of a
if I
point.
didn't pick it up from the conference, like it's good information. If it's something I have to go
Yeah.
back and rewatch, I don't think it's relevant. I don't know. That's my.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephen, for trying.
I
I assume
wanted
that's
to
my
bring it
one
up
that I
also.
get for the next 3 years. Holden, what's the next one? I still get a third of a
Might
point,
end
though.
up- what's crazy is that one might end up being true when they tell us more about it next year.
Sure,
Yeah.
But they didn't
we just
tell
don't
us
know
this
yet.
time.
Yeah.
Next year.
At least third prediction is at least 2 Nintendo IP from third-party developers. I actually thought you were going to get that one.
Yeah, I did not get
Yeah,
that.
I really thought that was a good prediction.
Was there even
this next-
one?
No, there wasn't
I don't
even
think
one.
there was even one. No.
Yeah, no,
wasn't even
yeah.
one. Number 4 is Square will bring Final Fantasy 4 through 15 on all systems, including Switch, but not Final Fantasy 8 and Final Fantasy 11. And literally, Final Fantasy 8 was the only one that got announced as a remaster.
Yep.
Which was crazy. Did you get? I mean, I lost my mind because I was like, "Where'd they
Yeah.
find it? Where did they find it? They must have just gone to somebody's house, or they're spending all the money to do it to like retrofit it or whatever." But
Yeah.
But I think the biggest one was Chad's number 5, which is new 3D Zelda game will be announced. I really did not think that was going to happen.
Yeah, I even went back and listened, and I was like,
kudos.
should I choose the hype one or the one that I think is going to happen? And I went with the hype one, and it was
That's right.
And
Right.
it happened.
Yep.
Trust that.
So I got
hype.
1 1/3 points. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1 and 1/3 points, yeah.
All right, so far I'm in the lead. Suck it, jerk!
Oh well.
I'm a very good sport, as long as I win.
Do we win anything?
Yeah, we win bragging rights, and we get to tell the rest of you to suck it.
Okay, cool. I'll be ready next year.
Steven
Hold on, who's
prediction is next.
Okay.
And that is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 will have Amiibo support with one
Ooh.
Marvel Amiibo announced. That was such a good prediction. How did that not happen?
I wanted that
it's
to
so
happen.
dumb. It's so dumb.
How
that
did
it
that
didn't.
not? It
I'm
really
sure
is
that
dumb
it's
that didn't
actually
happen.
going to be true. Like that's one
I'm
of those
sure,
things
yeah.
where it's absolutely going to have Amiibo support. The having an Amiibo, that was stupid. It would have been awesome to have a Spider-Man Amiibo or something, but like it's gonna have Amiibo support because it's a first-party Nintendo game. But yeah, anyway, I was mad and it had nothing to do with the predictions. I just wanted Amiibo support in that game.
Yeah, but it's coming out very soon. So like, I feel like,
In, like,
this
August.
would have been the time to announce it.
Yeah, it could
very
just be
strange.
like not a big deal and like on the back of the box. Like it could be one of those things where like you just drop an Amiibo on it and you get like a power
But like
or something.
they like Link's Awakening. They showed a trailer for that. No mention of Amiibo during the E3 event itself. But then during the Treehouse, it showed off that awesome Amiibo for Link
Yeah,
Link's Awakening, which
pre-ordered
I
it.
did get. Thank you, Chad, for sending me that link. I really
welcome.
appreciate that. I literally got it the second you sent it. I'm like, I'm doing it right now. I like stopped what I was doing completely, and I was doing something important too. Number 2 for Steven is Microsoft will say next Xbox will have 2 SKUs and will be out before summer 2020.
I failed that one super hard.
Yeah.
In fact, they mentioned singular Xbox. So like maybe there's not even 2 SKUs anymore because they did mention consoles last year, but different tale this year. I'm very curious what happened there. Damn good prediction here though. Dragon Quest character will be the new Smash character.
Yep.
DLC available today. But the fact that you got the exact character is really impressive.
I'm a ninja. But yeah,
That's pretty
and there's no reason it shouldn't have come out that day. That's just dumb. Make us wait till the summer. Come
Yeah.
on, just release it. But I'm
Especially
sure
since
it's
they
just
announced
not
2
ready.
of them. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I want to give you a full point for that one just because that was so spot on. But
No,
it
we
wasn't
gotta go
available
half.
that day.
We're going to go
Gotta
half.
go half. So, for number 4 is Minecraft Dungeons revealed during Microsoft's event. Open beta starts before end of 2019. It was there. Is there an open beta before the end of 2019?
They didn't say. I'm sure there will be. This is where Microsoft's going to just screw me. But yeah, but they didn't announce an open beta to my knowledge, and I looked because I want to play it because I had no idea that it was just going to be Diablo with Minecraft characters. I looked at my son and I was like, dude. Anyway, I was real hyped about that.
And then the last one is Doom Battle Royale.
Oh, man.
Bethesda did announce a Battle Royale, but it was in Fallout 76 instead.
Which is probably the right place for it. But so I'll
Is
take
it,
my
though?
one.
Is
I'll
it?
take my
Yeah.
Is
Is
Fallout
it-
76 the right place with their shitty shooting
I
mechanics?
There's
totally
already
think
like no
craft-
people,
craft-
and now they got to kill each other. I mean, come on.
No, it makes total sense because it's crafting. Fallout's all about crafting. And at least in 4 and 76, crafting's a big part of it, which is a big part of a Battle Royale kind of style games, is kind of collecting resources and all that. So that makes sense. And then you need an excuse for the world to get smaller. What's a better excuse than the rest of the world blew up? You need to get away from it. So it's
Yeah, but
perfect.
ultimately the game's about killing each other. And that, of all of their properties, has the worst shooting mechanics.
I know.
Well,
like the-
76 has better shooting mechanics than Fallout 4 does.
I didn't know.
No
that.
one would know but you.
And the
Yeah.
4 other people who played the game. All right.
I'll take my 1 point. I feel fine.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so my predictions now. Number 1, more than one Smash DLC character will be announced, all coming before August. I'm going to give myself half a point, only because we don't know if even the Dragon Quest character is going to come out before August. He could. It's summer, but we don't know.
Yeah.
But 2 characters were announced, so
Yep.
I think half a point.
Banjo
Hollow
freaking
Knight-
Kazooie!
Yeah, great trick out. That was awesome. New Hollow Knight Silksong trailer during Nintendo event. Okay, this one upsets me because
Yeah,
it
nothing
was
on this.
there, but it wasn't a trailer. But then they did 16 minutes of gameplay during Nintendo Treehouse. So no new trailer, but here's 16 minutes of gameplay. So that doesn't count. The next one for me also doesn't count. Animal Crossing will have a prominent featurette showing off new items, activities, and the official title. So the official title's there, but I said it was going to happen during a prominent featurette. And what I meant by that was like a Smash thing, where it's like, here's 10 minutes dedicated to talking about Animal Crossing. And we didn't get that. We got a trailer, but we did get 30 minutes of gameplay after the event, directly after the event, where they went through everything I said they were going to go through in the featurette. So damn it. So no points there. New Cyberpunk 2077 trailer announced during... Cyberpunk 2077 trailer shown off during Microsoft's event with the 2020 release window. That did happen. And then Microsoft will start their event with next-gen information. Cross-gen and concept will be discussed throughout the event. None of that happened. So I got a point and a half.
That's it. That
Damn
puts you in
it.
the win.
You
puts you
beat
in
me
the
by
win.
0.2 of a point.
That's how these work. Just for craps and laughs, I do want to talk very briefly because I did predictions among my own staff, and I used all the same predictions with one exception. I did not do Doom Battle Royale, and instead I said I predicted we'll see the Avengers game and it will release in 2020. And I cut that here because I thought that was too much of a softball for you guys. Had I left it in, I would have just walked. It would have been a walk-off home run. But
Yeah, you would have been
I
able to tell all of us to
I
suck it,
tried
but
to
you
be
can't.
challenging. For the record, I wouldn't have done that because I am a good winner. But I am tied with the Princesses of Power on my among my staff. So we have to play Mario Party to determine who gets our EFG belt.
Nice. Holden, you have to claim your winnings.
Maybe he doesn't want to be an asshole, Chad.
Damn it.
I'll tell you what. What I want is for Jerica and Steven to come back on the show at some point to continue talking about video games and all things that we love talking about in video games. That's what I want.
That's a prize. Getting Jerica and I back
well,
is a pretty
frickin'
good
great.
prize.
It's a great prize.
Frickin'
Okay, getting
great.
Jerica back is a
If you guys will
prize.
be back.
Getting Jerica back is a prize. Getting me back, I mean, that's a consolation.
Jerica looks very happy right now for people who can't hear what she's looking like.
Was that like a duck hybrid with a chipmunk?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
let's chat. Let's wrap up our E3 stuff with some chat about your favorite announcements from E3. I feel like we've covered a little bit. Let's dive a little bit more in depth with these. I'm going to start by telling you guys how freaking great Final Fantasy VII looks, because it looks like it's going to be the best freaking game that anyone's ever seen in their entire lives. And they're finally going to, what do you call it when you localization? They're relocalizing everything for English so that it all makes sense. It's going to be great, and everyone's going to see that Cloud actually is a cool character, despite just looking cool. And I'm so freaking excited. And everything's not going to be racist anymore or offensive, and it's just going to be a wonderful game, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Wow, so they're going to put some effort into an overrated game, and then it's going to be great? I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get it this time.
You can polish a turd. There are so many cool things about that game that if you just polish it up, it's going to be freaking wonderful.
This is just one of those. I remember when it was announced, if you don't mind me adding this in, I've never played Final Fantasy VII. The first Final Fantasy game I played was Final Fantasy X. But every E3, everyone always wanted that remaster or the remake or whatever. So like, it's almost like one of those, it's a unicorn that finally got announced in 2015. And I almost cried, like, because I was with a group of friends and I'm like, oh my God, this game's coming out. So like, I can't wait to play it because I've never played it and I don't know what happens. I just hear it's got a great story. So I'm super excited about when this comes out.
Speaking of reveals, do you remember like 7 or 8 or maybe even 9 years ago, they like in the middle of a conference started playing a trailer and it was like remastered Final Fantasy VII looking stuff, but it wasn't actually the game being remastered. It was just a tech demo of what the next console could do.
I remember
and
that now
like,
that you,
how dare you?
It's horrible.
I mean, I'm not a big Final Fantasy person, not because like I don't like them, because I've only played Final Fantasy 3 on the DS, but I have always wanted to go back to Final Fantasy 7. And I know it's a weird one out of all the Final Fantasy games.
That is weird. That's super
weird.
weird.
But I do want to go back and play Final Fantasy 7, and now I'm like, oh shit, that looks so good, and the gameplay was jaw-dropping.
It looks really cool.
It looks really good. And a lot of it was, that battle looked like it took a long time against the Scorpion thing. But everyone I've heard talk about that demo when they played it said it doesn't feel long at all. It's awesome from beginning to end, that whole battle. I'm very pumped. I'm more curious because you played the whole game, obviously. Midgar apparently is only 10% of that game. Do you really think there's enough there to build this out to 2 full Blu-ray discs worth of content? Okay.
When you play through Midgar in the original game, like you can't go in any buildings. It's all basically like a painted background with an occasional thing that you can go into story-wise. So if they're building this out to be a real world...
But I'm talking about like the story. Like, how much of the story actually happens in Midgar? Like, am I gonna finish this game and think, man, I didn't even finish the first act of this story?
They are taking so many liberties, I feel, with this and adding so much more to make this a fully realized world, which I'm
because I know like Sephiroth and Cloud never have a confrontation, but in this trailer we see they have a confrontation in Midgar. They don't have that in the original game, is my understanding.
I'm open to anything. I'm open to whatever they want to give me.
Yes, they said specifically that they are expanding certain characters. Like, there are characters who have more dialogue in the trailer than they did in the entire Midgard section of the game. So they are, I mean, because there's a bunch of characters in Avalanche that you work with that don't have, that really barely have speaking parts, that are just kind of there. And now they're going to be fleshed out, real characters. There's plenty of room for expansion. I think that's what they're going to be doing, is taking some of the stuff that didn't get, there are a lot of set pieces that didn't get a lot of setup, that just kind of happen. And they're going to get them. And also, like, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is all scrambled for me. This also is like, they're going to break into the Shinra Corporation and the headquarters and like see the science experiments and all that stuff, right, Chad? Like, that all happened before he escapes Midgar. So like, there's a lot of stuff that happens in Midgar that we don't Midgar that we don't really think about, because it's not like meeting the flower girl, and you know, like, there's a lot of stuff that they could just expand, and you know, like, so no, I'm not worried. I'm curious as to what the heck goes on to 2 Blu-ray discs. It's like, for real, they're putting The Witcher 3 on a freaking Switch cart. So, like, what are you putting on 2 Blu-rays? Do you not know? Does Nintendo need to loan you their compression team? Because, like, there's tools. I don't know what they're doing.
Nintendo
I think
is
it's
known to have
4K
a very
versus
good
540
team.
Yeah. If you notice, this is going to run on 4K on PS4 Pro versus The Witcher, which in handheld mode runs at 540, 720 maximum on the TV. Woo! Which I think is going to help a lot with space,
but still,
they could bring Final Fantasy VII down to 540p. They could do that. That'd be fine.
That's not what I mean. Y'all know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, I just don't know what they're putting on those 2 Blu-rays. But I mean, I'm excited to play it.
If you look at the character models though, and all the textures, like, holy shit, it looks incredibly good. And if it's just that, and it's really just 2 30-hour games on each disc, I'm kind of fine with that. I'm also downloading it, so I'm not really gonna be switching discs out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Have fun with that.
Hey, Red Dead Redemption 2 is 100 gigs. That was a fun download.
Yeah.
That's it.
Next?
That was my big game I wanted to talk about.
Steven, what was one of your favorite announcements?
Listen, I want to talk about Breath of the Wild 2, because Chad was a coward and didn't bring it up.
Nailed it!
Listen, Breath of the Wild 2 got kind of, I guess teased is probably the right word. Announced isn't the correct word. Really, It was teased. But they gave us like a minute and a half of like very dense teaser footage that the nerds are already like frame by framing.
There's some juicy theories out there.
Oh man, listen,
it's going to be like, and it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it really, I've read 4 or 5 different ways that this could go, and I would play any of them. I want to play all of them. Listen, Breath of the Wild is the best video game Nintendo has ever made. Full stop. And so
Don't say anything, Chad. Don't say anything, Chad.
No, I was clearing my throat.
I mean, Chad can say whatever he wants. All he's going to do is just dig himself a hole. It's fine.
I don't believe in censorship except for Chad saying his opinions about Breath of the Wild.
Just more realistically, more of that sounds great. But Aonuma saying that this is going to be a darker game. That's the only thing that gives me pause, because the reality is the first game was already kind of dark. It's just you had to pay attention. But like, I mean, that's the only thing that gives me pause. Is like, what the hell do you mean by dark? But it's I'm so stoked for that game. I think it's closer than we realize.
Yeah, I think it's next year.
That's my wife actually laid that prediction on me. I thought it was going to be longer, and then she was like, "No, but for real, it's probably next holiday, because they probably started working on it as soon as the last DLC was released, and
probably before then.
Yeah, probably before then. That's why the DLC was sucky.
And also
it was not.
You shut your mouth, Chad, Michael Innes. But the other piece is they were working on it beforehand, just by nature of the fact that this is probably going to be composed of some of the discarded parts. Because I mean, they made like 1.5 Breath of the Wilds. There's no way that some of that stuff that they cut isn't going to find its way in now.
One of the concepts art for Breath of the Wild people are pointing to is that originally Ganon was supposed to be on Death Mountain, and Death Mountain was a hovering landmass over Hyrule. It's like, ooh, that sounds kind of like what
makes
Hyrule
sense,
Castle is going to be.
at the end of that. I mean, listen, I'd be fine. Listen, so it's hovering. That means we got to fly to get there. Sure.
Yeah. I have some reservations about Breath of the Wild 2, actually. I'm a little upset it's in the same exact world as Breath of the Wild. I don't know what variations they're going to put on it. If they do like a Dark World spin, like that'd be kind of cool. But I'm very curious. But I'd really rather not play in the same exact Hyrule, unless they do like, hey, the world has changed in significant ways. When you travel, you're going to see new things, and I trust them. I trust that I'm not going to dislike the game. But
I'm just saying the castle floated. We don't know it's the same world. The castle could float into space, and we play in space.
But if that's the
okay,
I would play Zelda Breath of the Wild in
It would be
space.
incredible.
Yeah. It's basically all the Mario Galaxy stuff, but Zelda instead.
There we go.
I mean, it depends what they do, but I'm excited, obviously, that a new Zelda game got announced. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful for a new Zelda game, but like I booted up Breath of the Wild a little while ago to play. I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast or not, but I booted up on a little while ago, and I just stopped playing immediately because I'm like, oh, well, I know the world already. I don't really feel like exploring it again. I played 300 hours in this world. I'm good. I don't know if I want to play a whole new Zelda game that's in the same exact world, unless there's huge variations. But some of the lore stuff in the background is cool. Like, that mummy is Ganon. There's no way that mummy is not Ganon.
Yeah.
And what is that? What did they say? The hand might be the seal, and how they seal Ganon below the castle.
Stranding.
All
Connection.
that stuff. I mean,
Yes! Woo! If there's Death Stranding integration, I'm in.
someone deciphered the letters in the spiral, and it literally just says "Seal Ganon" in the Gerudo language. The where the hand is holding Ganon down is exactly where Ganon was stabbed in Twilight Princess at the very end by the Master Sword, and he's also wearing the same amulet on his forehead that he's wearing in Twilight Princess as well. So it's definitely Ganon.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. It's cool.
I would not. I don't think that they would not. I don't think they would release it, knowing full well that a big portion of their hardcore audience has really poured through every inch of this map. I don't imagine that they would do it without making some significant changes.
Yeah.
And at the very least, forcing us to kind of travel in different ways. I mean, the reality is, if they add verticality through flight, that's the one thing that we haven't been able to really do, right? So, I agree with you. If the map is identical, then that might be an issue. But I don't think that's going to be a thing. I think they're going to make some changes.
Yeah, I mean, they've confirmed at least that it's the same map. But again, the changes we don't really know about. We'll have to see. I don't know. I do have two predictions for it, though. One,
sure,
it's going to be called Legend of Zelda: Curse of the Wild. They're going to keep Of the Wild in there.
They're definitely going to keep Of the Wild. I think that makes perfect sense.
Wait, what does the Breath of the Wild sound like again? Was that like... Woo, that's a deep cut for Respawn Named Fire. Actually, that's back when we were still split-screen gaming podcast.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the other prediction is that you got your abilities in Breath of the Wild very early on in the game, and that was through the Sheikah Slate. This time, it's all going to be attached to Link's right hand. He gets touched, and he has that green stuff kind of cover his right hand going up his whole arm. Maybe they didn't really show that. I think all of his abilities are going to extend from that, so he'll get a hook shot through his right hand, just extending out with that
Green Lantern
material.
style.
Green Lantern style. Yeah, that's my prediction.
That's kind of cool.
I'm down with both of those things. That sounds great. Frankly, they could just make it the same map. I'd probably play it.
I would too. I just would be let down.
They could make it anything, and I will play it. I won't enjoy it, but I'll play it.
I'm not going to like it, even though it's immaculate. I'm not going to like it.
I'm going to choose to hate it, no matter what.
I'm just going to rage play Breath of the Wild because I don't understand what's good. That's
so,
fine.
Jed, were you really hoping for something brand new with Zelda, or were you kind of let down, seeing oh boy, it's the one I didn't like?
No, I honestly said, if you go back and listen to the episode itself, I said it's a Breath of the Wild sequel. Like it's a sequel to Breath of the Wild, all the same assets, that kind of stuff, rather than just a new 3D Zelda.
Is this the first direct sequel with any of the Zelda games? I actually don't know.
There have been 3 direct sequels.
Oh, okay.
There was Majora's Mask is the first one, and then Wind Waker had 2 sequels, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Although Spirit Tracks is not a direct sequel, it's 400 years later, but it is the same exact world. But Phantom Hourglass is a direct sequel. It's the same Link. It's Tetra, who's also in the first one, in Wind Waker, I mean.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but this is the first time it's in the same exact world.
Well, I thought, what about Link Between Worlds?
They considered that a spiritual successor. It's not the same Link. It's a spiritual successor.
But it is
that's
the same
that's how they
world.
considered it.
Doesn't check all the boxes, but it checks
Well,
one of the boxes.
Lorule is a new world. That's not the same thing as the Dark World.
Yeah,
so it's half.
Exactly. It's not the difference really comes down to all of the other ones Nintendo has explicitly said are direct sequels. So if they hadn't said any of them were direct sequels, and we were just making judgment calls on some of those because of like the Zelda timeline or whatever, then so be it. But since Nintendo has done it in the past, since they didn't say A Link Between Worlds is a direct sequel, that means it's not. It's a logic puzzle, Chad. I mean, I know.
Yeah, I hate puzzles.
I know.
I hate puzzles.
That explains everything. It's like a shrine, only it's in real life.
Ugh. Gross.
Jericho, what was one of your favorite announcements?
So, I don't know. I sort of forgot about this game, but then I didn't. And my girlfriend actually reminded me because I was having this discussion. What game should I mention? And it was actually the Blair Witch game that was shown off at the Microsoft conference.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of that trailer, I thought for a second, like, oh God, Alan Wake, it's back. Because that's what I thought it was.
Oh,
that's what it sort of, it sort of reminded me of Alan Wake. But as I was watching it, I was like, oh, there's a guy in the corner of this house, like just standing. Oh my God, this is very Blair Witchy. It was very Blair Witchy. I was like, this is cool. At the end, when I saw Blair Witch, I was like, what the heck? That is so random, but I'm so in. Because that was like one of the first horror movies that I watched with one of my friends, and it scared us so bad. We were obviously probably too young to watch the movie. And it freaked us out so bad. And I guess like we would make these movies, like home movies, with our VHS camcorder. So we have a lot of extensive knowledge on the Blair Witch IP. It's totally ridiculous, but I love that world. It's so interesting. So them going back, and if you didn't know this, there's actually a Blair Witch game from the early 2000s for PC. There were 3 volumes.
Oh, I did not know this.
And I've actually attempted to play them when I was younger. I remember going to a store and buying the big box off the shelf and being like, Mom, install this for me. I probably wasn't that young, but I still needed help. But it would never run on my PC, so I never got to play it. It just kept crashing. But it was it was a weird kind of game where the Blair Witch IP was sort of blanketed over another game. So it really didn't have a huge connection. So I'm really excited about this because I love scary games. Resident Evil 7 was so good. I had such a great time. And just the fact that I could be running around the woods and potentially have the Blair Witch chase me. I don't know why, but sign me up. I want to experience that. So, and it's going to have its own story. It looks like there's like this police guy and he's looking for his son, I think. So it's not directly tied to the movies. They're going to tell their own story. So that's pretty cool.
I think that's what's most exciting to me is that it's not tied to any of the movies, like in a direct storyline way, but they're kind of, seems like they're telling their own story within that kind of folklore, which is cool. When I saw it, I thought it was going to be another...
Outlast.
Outlast. I thought it was going to be another Outlast
Oh, yeah,
game.
that too, yeah.
Because it was like, oh, man, you're just going to walk around with the camera again, and that's it. That's all Outlast was, which was not exciting to me. But no, then I saw Blair Witch. I saw the people saying, I was like, oh, my God. This could be really freaking cool.
It looked really good, too.
It did, yeah. You drew the parallel to Resident Evil 7, and I think that's a really, that's incredibly exciting to think about a game that could be like that.
Gosh, I hope it's in VR. Well, it's not coming to PlayStation. Ugh, so I can't do that, but maybe one day.
Yeah, at least in the first movie, the horror is all from the atmosphere, and I think that's lends itself very well to a video game as well. So I'm very excited for that. It is strange that it's coming out in August. It's really
so soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how have we not heard about this before?
They just kept it hidden in the woods.
Who's developing it?
I forgot the name, but they did Layers of Fear.
Nintendo's developing it.
Oh, yeah. This was the third party. Zelda's in this one, right?
Yep.
Zelda, the guy with the green hat, he's in this one?
Yes, Zelda, the guy with the green hat. Yep.
Exactly.
He's the witch. That's why his hat's so pointy.
Oh, watch out. Yeah. That was the game that I wanted to talk about.
That's exciting. I'm very excited. Holden's the next person, but he's also looking something up, so making for great content.
I did tell my friend about this game, the one I used to make these scary movies with when we were younger. Really bad movies in the front yard. We used a lot of ketchup. We actually created these little stick people to put in the trees too. So the yard was the Blair Witch Woods. It was pretty great.
That's awesome.
She doesn't play games, but she's coming over to play that one as soon as it comes out.
Oh my god.
We may do like a stream.
You just made me remember something I haven't thought about in easily 15 years.
Oh, great. Let's
My
hear it.
brother and I and my little sister and my cousin made not a movie. Well, I guess it's a movie. It's like an interactive slideshow called the Blair
Cool.
Ketchup Project.
What?
Oh my god! I gotta find this. And send it to you after this. But yeah, it was like telling. We took photos of ourselves, like reacting in different ways, and I remember distinctly photos of the ketchup bottle standing up on the deck, and then suddenly the ketchup bottle is falling over. Man, I haven't thought about that in so long.
There you go. Memory
I'm a
lane.
developer. It's Lionsgate Games, but it's a division within them called Bloober Team.
That was it. I just
Bloober.
forgot the name.
Yeah.
Bloober.
Bloober.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do we get to talk about it anymore? Because I have at least one.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done mine. We have.
Then I'll wait
I
my
was
turn.
doing
I just
2 or
wanted-
3 per person, I was thinking.
Okay. I'll wait my turn. I just wanted to make sure.
Well, you might be. You're talking about Animal Crossing? Because that's what I'm going to talk about next.
Nope.
Is Animal Crossing.
Nope.
No?
The one
Anyone
I'm going
wanna
to talk
Animal
about has
Crossing?
nothing to do with anything.
No, I don't
you
think
guys
any
are
of us
gonna
brought
talk about.
Animal Crossing to this. So
I'm hype as hell, to be clear.
Okay,
But-
good.
But go on, sir.
I got very excited about Animal Crossing New Horizons, which I wrote down as New Pathways of the note for some reason.
oh,
And I think
I
I was just excited about you can make your own pathways. I think that's what it was.
Animal Crossing New Pathways is the Animal Crossing Death Stranding crossover.
There you go. I'm ready.
I was going to say Animal Crossing New Pathways is the Alcoholics Anonymous recovery program you play within Animal Crossing.
Oh.
So what makes it a big announcement for me is that it seems like
repeat while you talk.
the biggest advancement for the Animal Crossing franchise. It actually seems like it's a really big step up. So you're on a deserted island now. So like you're actually, rather than coming into a town and becoming a part of that town, you're one of the first people on this island, and you're trying to build up this island to get other people to want to live there as well. I don't know too much of like if you're gonna have towns there or if you're gonna fly out to a different city area where you can go to those different shops and stuff, but I really like how they're playing with that island mechanic, and it changes a few fundamental things about Animal Crossing that are a big deal. So like one is you can craft items now. And what's really nice about that is you used to have to, like, right now I'm playing Animal Crossing again. I haven't gotten the opportunity to get an axe yet because the store only has 2 items in that kind of category per day, and so far none of them have been an axe. So I haven't got an axe, so I can't chop down trees by my house, and I really would like to, so I can start to kind of farm and start growing some oranges. But I have to wait for that axe to come in now. But with crafting materials, I would be able to make that axe. So I don't have to wait anymore. And that's like a nice little adjustment right there. You're apparently going to have a lot more control over the animals that live in your town, so you can just tell them to leave if you want to, which is kind of like funny. You can also just move your house around wherever you want. So if you want to be on the beach, you can be on the beach. You've never been able to do that in Animal Crossing before. And I'm like, that's awesome. I want a beach house. I'll build my house on the beach because that's where I want to put it. Little things like you're on a desert island, so you don't have bridges yet. So you actually have a little pole vault. You just pole vault across the rivers. Like these little things like that are really starting to add up, where you can put furniture outside your house and customize your place that way. You can also just choose to never upgrade your house and live in a tent only, and that will actually influence the other kinds of people who come to live in your neighborhood, and how Tom Nook influences his own advancements for that island as well. So it's more in line with you wanting to be living in a tent in kind of a little bit more of a campy sense. Campy, not like campy cheesy, campy like camp campy, which is also a campy way of saying that. But it just looks great, and everything I've seen about
Steven's
this
face.
is just everything about it looks awesome. I'm super pumped about it. It looks like a great advancement, and I could go on and on and on, but I know none of you guys want to listen to that. So,
I've been looking for a quote about this game. So I am incredibly hyped for this game. My entire house is hyped for this game.
yeah.
I want to add some extra shenanigans. Like we bought a second Switch for this game. So when they didn't give us much, I was a little bummed, right? Like, because they really didn't give us a lot. But
in that treehouse, they talked a lot more, though.
Initially.
Sorry, I'll let you go. Yeah.
Like, initially, they didn't give us a lot. But they, during the treehouse, I had my son and I were trying to, because I actually, I called my son out of school so he could watch the Nintendo.
You're an awesome dad. That's great.
Yep.
And thank you. I'm not sure that that's the case. So our war, this is a total non sequitur, but y'all will appreciate it. So our war room was at my friend John's house, who is an EFG employee 2 weeks out of the year, the week before E3 and during E3. And then he goes on vacation for the rest of the year. It's a sweet gig. I should look into it.
Yeah.
But his wife, who is my board game editor, and also runs the house, and was like mom to all of us while we were doing this. She is a first grade teacher. And so when she found out that I was pulling my son out of school to watch a press conference, she looked at me and she said, I have feelings about this, but I am not going to share them with you. And I said, that's fair. I take that to mean that you're not happy about this. But I'm going to do it anyway. And she said, I know, that's why I'm not wasting my time, more or less. I definitely got yelled at. But so I had him taking notes, or he and I were starting to take notes on all the stuff, and we just ran out.
There's
so much stuff. And
There's
also
so much stuff.
every frame that they showed was deliberate. And I think they were revealing stuff without talking about it. But there's so much good. It's so exciting. I cannot wait to kind of dig into it. My kids can't. I'm looking for a tweet, because I actually tweeted at Nintendo, because my daughter, who is 6, got very angry about the delay. And so I sent it to Nintendo. But I guess I can't find it, and that's sad. But basically, more or less, my wife texted it to me. You guys will love this. I promise. Where's my wife? Hold on.
By the way, totally on the dad pulling out of school thing, that is legit some of the best memories I have with my dad are when, like, hey, do you want to skip school today and go do blank? It's like, yes! And they're some of my most cherished memories, so I'm sure your son appreciates it.
When the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie came out, my dad took me out of school to go see that with him, and that was awesome. My mom was so pissed. She was so pissed.
Oh, yeah. It was... Oof. Yeah, my wife knew. My wife knew, but yeah, it was. It did not go well with everybody else that I was with. No, and I can't find the thing, so never mind. Cool. I can't find the quote, but more or less, it was, I have to wait a whole nother year. Come on, man. Nintendo, you gotta let me play this game. I'll be almost 8.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And ever since then, because what's crazy is we bought her a new Leaf and a DS a while ago, and it's up until very recently she didn't understand it enough that really all she did was play hide and seek in the game with her brothers. Like, they made up a game where, like, they would unlock the gates and they would, like, run around each other's villages and just play hide and seek, which works. And so she did that, and within the last, like, 3 weeks, so, like, 2 weeks before E3, she, like, got it and was like, oh, I get the things, I sell the things, I give them to the stupid raccoon man, and I keep doing this. And so, I mean, that's obviously an oversimplification, but you know what I mean. And so as soon as she got it, she was like, oh, they're going to make a new one that looks prettier. As soon as that happened, she was all in. It's her most anticipated game of all time. Will be the game of her life. And then she found out, and then within a week of being super hype about it, she then experienced a delay. So in short, my 6-year-old's a real gamer now. Because that's really what makes a real gamer, getting hyped about a game and then suffering through a delay. It's not about are you good, are you not. It's can you feel the pain like we can. Once you're in on that.
Just a reminder, with Breath of the Wild, it was worth it. This will be worth it too.
Oh, my wife tried. It didn't work. You don't reason with 6-year-olds, bro.
This is true.
You just don't reason with them. She basically was cussing out Nintendo in a 6-year-old way. Come on, man from a 6-year-old is like, that's some Sam Jackson stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it also looks gorgeous. Speaking of the updated visuals, it looks nice.
So
the
good.
Water effects, the trees, moving in the wind. One of my favorite little extra announcements they added, not even during the event or Treehouse, but like just in interviews afterwards, there's an autosave feature now.
Mm-hmm.
Which that might not mean anyone who just play Animal Crossing, but that's a kind of a big part of the game is you have to save the game. If you don't save the game and you turn it off, when you turn it back on again, this mole pops out of the ground named Mr. Resetti, who tells you that it's wrong that you turned the game off without saving your progress, and it's irresponsible. You don't know the impact it's having on the world you're playing in, and yada yada yada. And it goes on forever. It really is like laying into you. Like and it's all text based. It goes on for like 5 minutes. And they've said, well, we can't say what he's doing, but Mr. Rossetti's looking for new work now, is how they put it. So it's like, oh, what's Mr. Rossetti going to be doing in the new game? I don't know, but that got me excited.
Does he also save your progress even if you don't manually hit save? Or do you lose everything and you have to sit through a lecture?
Yeah, you lose everything and you have to sit through the lecture.
This game sounds great.
So it also happens if your battery turns off too, and it gets worse. So like if the first time he'll be a little bit more lenient with you, but if you keep doing it, he gets more and more mad with you about not saving your game.
Oh my god!
I mean,
it's awesome.
It's also I mean, it's hard to mention it without talking about
it's very Earthbound like.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair assessment. Also, like the character creation stuff, the fact that like the different hairstyles and clothes are no longer tied to what gender you choose. So you can just kind of do whatever the hell you want. You can also, on purpose, without hacking the game or anything, make a person of color.
So you used to have
actually a huge deal among the Animal Crossing community.
You used to have to go to the beach and get a tan, and that would only last you that day. Then you have to go to the beach the next day and just hang on the beach for like an hour to build up a tan, and then do that every morning.
Oh wow!
In the game.
That's
so this is a big deal.
I hope they don't get cancer. It sounds horrible. Poor Animal Crossing animals.
Tom Nook curing your cancer and then giving you a gigantic loan you have to pay off. It sounds very Animal Crossing.
True facts.
Yeah. Chad, I feel really bad you had to endure all that Animal Crossing talk.
No worries.
Let's do one more round of things that we liked about E3, then we'll move on. I'll let you start this time, Chad, because you had to sit through all of that Animal Crossing discussion. That must have been really hard.
He has to live through life
my next thing,
liking Zelda. Think about that.
I don't. It's hard. It's hard for me to sleep at night thinking about how Chad does that.
My next thing is rough. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square Enix showed off so much good shit about this game. First of all, you can see people get material. Like she hands him the material. It's like, oh my god, that's so cool. You can hold it in your hand. That's so awesome. You can see it in the weapons. I know you could kind of see it a little bit in the original, but like this whole game. Yeah, that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about was Final Fantasy VII. So we can move on to something else. Jericho, you're up.
I mean, are we going to talk about it?
Talk about what?
That game that comes out in April.
Who's talking
Cyberpunk.
about
Final Fantasy
that game,
VII?
that one.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to bring it up. I mean, it's not like the world hasn't been talking about it.
I had not planned to talk about it.
Okay,
but you can talk about it. It just wasn't in my favorite announcements.
Okay, well, it was one of my favorites, and not because of Keanu Reeves.
I'm not putting you down. I'm sorry.
Because him and Nicolas Cage, their faces sort of get on my nerves. I can't explain it.
They're two people that I can't watch the movies.
Yeah, so I saw his face, and I was like, well, what do you know? Look at him. He's in Cyberpunk. There he is.
He's a lot in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
He's apparently
Yeah.
like, I guess like an AI or some kind of intelligence that communicates with you from what I've read.
So he's a former rock star in the world who's died, and now his
Wow.
ghost lives digitally.
Okay, I missed that.
In you to talk to you. Yeah.
That's intense. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less from Keanu Reeves in a game. So
Keanu Reeves, the game.
the game. But I can say this. So obviously I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I really haven't found another game since the original trilogy that hooked me with the RPG elements, is like creating your own character and making your decisions that ripple, and there's consequences that to that extent. And I think Cyberpunk's going to be that game, obviously. It
Yeah,
sounds
definitely.
so deep. I don't know how it's still coming out in April. I was still really surprised we got a release date, because it seems like this game's going to be massive. I don't know if
Yeah,
they
it's not
talked
coming
about
out in
size.
April, by the way.
Yes,
It's not.
It is. I would bet on it right now. It's going to come out in April.
I mean, all right.
It sounds like April was them saying we want to give, because they apparently, this is all rumor and scuttlebutt, but like they wanted to release this year, but it was pressure within the development team saying we really cannot do it in that time frame. We can do it by April 2020. So it sounds like it was them pushing it back already. Like if they announced 2019, they would have delayed it to April 2020. So I think it's going to be fine. They've also said too they've been holding out on announcing a release date because when they announce a release date, they don't want to delay it. So I think I trust them.
That's what they all say.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, I'm sorry, Jerica. I really did totally just interrupt you, so that's my bad.
Oh no, you feel free. There's a lot about this game, so if I miss anything, please interrupt. But yeah, I was able to sort of watch some videos and read some articles about people that got to see the new demo, the gameplay demo, which I think it was another like 50 minutes or so. Maybe. And we'll probably, I think I saw where we'll probably see that closer to Gamescom, like, so they'll release it a few months later. But from what I could tell, it was a lot of the same stuff, but it looks way better, which is awesome. I would expect that. And I thought it was really cool in the trailer anyways. And what we got to see is like the little blades coming out of his arm. I thought that was neat. I can't wait to see how much of your character's body you can like change or upgrade. And that kind of stuff, like this world, I'm so in. There hasn't been a game really that I can be like, that's similar to that I've played. It's definitely going to be something new and different. And I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm super excited about Cyberpunk as well. I just wish we had gotten that gameplay demo at E3.
I know.
It just seems sort of like, hey, we're going to release this game in a year, but the demo's not ready for you guys to see it. It'll be ready in August. Like, if the demo's not ready for August...
It's like they really...
It's a hype building thing, I think.
It is, and it's like they really want to get the feedback from people they know, like, is going to give them great feedback before they show it to the masses, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you
I
guys
think
remember?
also it might
Mostly
be a tough game for them to demo, and they might be even just using this to figure out
Yeah.
how to best show off the game. If it is this wide and expansive, how do you demo a game like that?
True.
I was disappointed because that was a cinematic trailer at
Yep.
the second E3 you've seen this game. That should have been the first E3's cinematic trailer, and then we get a gameplay trailer this year. So it just felt a little odd for me. That's why I'm a little underwhelmed by Cyberpunk at E3, but I still
everyone's
super
doing it,
amped
so
about
I
it.
mean...
Right.
Yeah,
show
but I
it.
didn't
Go
expect
under
it
the
from
stage.
Cyberpunk.
Show it there. Go underneath the stage.
Yeah,
It's there.
It was playing underneath the stage. They just didn't show it.
Yeah,
That point.
makes sense.
I was actually
yeah.
grateful for the cinematic trailer because what we've seen so far, I was still not sold on, like, am I going to care about these characters? Is it going to be a worthwhile
Yeah.
story? And I feel like this answered that question for me. So now I'm excited for Cyberpunk in a way that I wasn't before. Whereas I was like, oh, that looks like a cool game. And now it's like, I'm going to buy this game.
I am not. Listen, I'm so happy that you guys are going to be enjoying this. Yeah, I'm out. Like it doesn't have anything to do with Keanu Reeves. I'm sure he's a great guy.
It can be his face. It's okay.
It's a detriment to me, definitely.
But it really just comes down to I don't think I'd ever I it could be wonderful. I don't think I'd ever really be able to appreciate enough of the game to really feel like I got enough out of it to justify spending money on it. Like, I played The Witcher 3, and I have not even come close to finishing it. I had my I fell in love with Kira Metz, and we had our magical evening, and then some things happened, and now I can't talk to her anymore because she dead. And I guess spoilers for The Witcher 3. But like I accidentally killed like the love of my life, and then I'm like, you know what, my story's over. I'm gonna move and go on. My Witcher is now an ascetic monk. And then there's a funny story. We'll save it for my God, I'm so humble or whatever next time I'm on, because my Witcher 3 story is actually really funny. But I just, part of me is like, wow, I'm kind of relieved that I killed the love of my life, because now I don't have to play the rest of this game. I have an excuse because it's so intimidating. Like I'm sure it's going to be immaculate and wonderful, and the people that really can like latch onto it and love it are gonna just eat it right up. And I'm gonna hang out and play Mario Kart while y'all do that. Because like. Man, you know, and that's really what it is. It's just I'm so intimidated by like, oh, you can put stats into how cool you are, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means, because I don't know what cool is. I do a video game podcast, like what? So anyway, yeah,
I think it's like the charisma trait. I think it's
charisma is my personal dump stat. So you know,
like is it like a supreme fanny pack? You get one of those.
Oh my God, listen,
that means you're cool, right?
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
I mean, now
very
actually
cool.
they sell those. They're called belt. They're belt wallets or something. Like if you go to Walmart or somewhere right now, they actually sell fanny packs, but they don't call
That's
them
some
that.
crazy double speak right there.
Oh, it's awful. And I was like, but here's what's crazy. Like this is the mental voyage I go on. So I grabbed it. I picked one up. Because first I was like, oh my God, they're selling fanny packs again. And I'm like, of course they're selling fanny packs again. And then I looked at it and I was like, maybe I should buy this because I could use this for my LARP character. And then I looked at my son and I was like, Evan, I could use this. And he's like, Dad, you're thinking about buying a fanny pack so you can bring it to LARP with you. What is wrong with you? And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I put it down.
They're
and I walked
trendy
away.
now. They're cool.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Duh.
Really? Every time I look at a fanny pack, I just go, that's not
They're
good.
back in style. They've been in style. Yeah.
I mean, you can buy like crazy expensive ones at the Gap.
That's right.
At least that's what I understand. You know, I mean, so anyway, I'm super stoked for all y'all Cyberpunk folks. You enjoy that. Because I'm sure it's going to be great, right? I'm sure it's going to be like Game of the Year. It's all nonsense. But
unless Last of Us Part 2 comes out next year.
Woo!
Wow.
Get
yeah,
hyped.
I mean, you're right. You're right.
It's definitely. So the actress who plays Ellie in the game was in an interview, and they said, "Hey, so like." As they were like, hey, so when's the game coming out? And she's like, well, I think and then the guy cut her off.
Yeah,
but she was definitely saying February. So definitely how that was going to go.
Oh.
We'll find out within a month or so, right? Like, I mean, they got to do another state of play soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll do it.
Didn't mean to derail us. I just got hyped.
Listen, now I will play The Last of Us. The real issue is it comes down to I only have room for so many grown-up games, quote unquote, every year.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk, I think, counts as like 6. You know what I mean? And I can only buy 3 or so. And so it's like, you know what? I'm just going to play Watch Dogs and assemble the Designing Women crew and The Last of Us. And then I'll probably finally get around to playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I'm like, I think the 3 of those in sum total, I might actually finish more of that than Cyberpunk.
There you go.
You can't hit me right now, too. We haven't gotten this is Last of Us 2 related, sorry. We haven't gotten a story trailer for that yet. Like, we're kind of due for a story trailer. Does anyone really know what the story is?
Well, if it's coming out in February, we're definitely due.
I think it's going to be a Joel trailer because every trailer has corresponded with. I have all 3 Mondo posters. Every trailer's corresponded with those Mondo posters, and the last one was a Joel poster. I may have talked about this. I can't remember.
What's a Mondo poster?
Interesting.
Yeah, what's a Mondo poster?
Is that a company?
Yeah, Mondo is out of Austin, and they publish like various posters from movies, games, you name it, and they're like limited. So, and they did all the Last of Us posters and vinyls for Naughty Dog.
Oh,
Look it up, mondot.com.
I just looked at it. Okay. Oh.
One of those posters I
The
have
one
is like super
with
expensive
Joel
now.
was is that the one that's black and white?
And he's in the campfire and there's like a wolf. Every trailer has something to do with those posters, which is pretty cool.
Yo, that poster is bad ace. Wow, is that poster good?
Whoa.
My only issue with The Last of Us is that they didn't warn me that it was a zombie game. Like, I know they did, but they didn't. They did, I'm sure they did, and it's 100% my fault, but they didn't tell me. Like, that's where, like, and so I have a serious problem with zombies in that they freak me out. Like, I've spoken to a therapist about this. I'm not even joking. I have, like, legit PTSD symptoms from zombies, which is really weird. Like, shortness of breath and, like, it makes no sense. And let me tell you a story about zombies. When I knew that this was a problem and I needed to talk to someone, because my son was 2, and we got home at night. It was the middle of the summer, you know, nice clear day, and we were emptying the car from groceries, and my 2-year-old son was asleep. And obviously you open the door because, like, it's hot. But I irrationally could not allow the door to remain open because what if a zombie consumed him? I'm not even joking. Like, it was the worst feeling. And, like, I knew it was ridiculous because, like, there's no such thing as zombies. Like, that's really stupid. But, like, I couldn't not shut the door. And I was like, no, I need to talk to someone.
Well, when the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm going to go to your house because you've, like, thought about everything, I bet.
Yep.
An unhealthy amount but I have to, like, shut that part. Like, it's really bad. Like,
But when the zombie apocalypse happens, it was healthy. It was the right thing to think about.
Holden, we'll derail this
You're
podcast.
an enabler.
But then I started playing The Last of Us, and then like the parts where you're not in the sewer or not in the subways are, like, fine. Because then it's an action game for me. Sure, it's a stealth action game, but whatever. I can play Assassin's Creed. Then you're in the tunnels, and that is a zombie game. So, like,
there's scary zombie sequences too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, I'm getting sweats just thinking about it. So,
Oh man.
I hope, this is what I hope, is I hope that, just, you know how with some games you can change the difficulty level, like, dynamic? So, like, I'm hoping that they'll let me, as soon as I go down, because I'm sure they're going to have subway sequences, or the equivalent of, and I hope whenever I get to those things, I can drop the difficulty all the way down to baby-ass baby mode, and just accidentally crap my way through those parts with my eyes closed, and then then I can put it back up to normal or something. But, like, I can't wait for The Last of Us, but at the same time, I'm really scared. Like, I'm already scared of the zombie sequences in that game. Yeah.
All right.
Any other E3 games we want to talk about before we move on to our rankings or our awards?
Yeah, I got to talk about Fall Guys.
Fall Guys, yes.
Okay, this is being published by Devolver. This is the elevator pitch. It is a battle royale game with no guns that is inspired by Japanese game shows, like Ultimate Elimination or, like, Wipeout. So basically, picture gang beasts. I'm not even joking. Just picture gang beasts. And there's 100 gang beasts. Right now there's only 64, but they're trying to get 100. And there's 100 of those, like, cute little monsters from gang beasts. And you're just running. And you go through a series of stages where, for example, one of them is you're running towards a wall and there's a bunch of doors in it. And in the doors are a bunch of cardboard bricks. Now, some of those cardboard bricks are cardboard boxes that you can just punch through. Some of them are actual bricks. So you're running through this door at full speed. And occasionally, some of the 100 of you will crash into a brick. If you do that a certain number of times, you're out. And everybody else that gets through can cross the finish line. They move on to the next round. The next one, half of you will spawn with foxtails, and the other ones will not. And so then it's just a giant game of tag. And so there's, like, X number of seconds, and everyone who either catches a foxtail or survives and doesn't get their foxtail taken moves on to the next round. And it keeps going through these really stupid challenges until eventually there is one winner declared. From my perspective, which is, you know, the family gamer perspective, there are a lot of people that are all in on the battle royale concept, but simply, as soon as they see a rifle, they check out. And I can understand that. That's not how I am. I think Fortnite is super paintball-y and arcadey and, you know, whatever, right? Like, it's the least violent game I have ever played. But, like, I totally talk to parents all the time that are like, oh, my son wants to play this Battle Royale game, but, like, I can't do with guns. And so I don't have an answer for them. Like, really, it's just like, well, then he can't play this genre because for the most part, they're all shooters. Now I have an option. And I always love it when a company creatively gives me an option to, like, Splatoon was a great option where it's like, you know what? You want to play a team-based shooter? Great. It's squirt guns with paint. And it's cute, and it's fun, and it's hard, and you need your strategy.
It's a very hard game. Yeah.
You know, like, that was great for me. Fall Guys feels like Splatoon for me, in that now I can finally say, dude, you want to play a Battle Royale game? Let's do this thing. And it looks adorable. I mean, if you look at the trailer, it looks absolutely insane. I can't wait to watch a bunch of streamers play it and just get real goofy and dumb. And so, yeah, Fall Guys is a game to absolutely keep your eye on. Because I don't think it's just for kids. I think anybody that likes absurdity will be down. But I think this is one of those games that I finally have a game I can recommend in the genre to anyone without having to be like, well, if you're okay with guns.
Yeah.
You got
I didn't get, for some
options.
reason, when I saw the trailer, I didn't get that it was a battle royale for some reason. I thought you were just
me
controlling a
neither.
bunch of people, and then hopefully one of them or 10 of them make
So
it
it doesn't
in.
look like one. It doesn't look like one. But at the end of the day, a battle royale is a game that starts with X number and goes down to 1. It subverts some of those. You know, normally we think about it being like an actual fight, where in this case it's not. You're just doing some goofy stuff.
Yep.
Which again helps. You know,
I feel like this could be a fun party game. I hope like you have either split
Absolutely.
screen or I guess everybody has a Switch.
Yeah, well, it's not coming to Switch yet. PC and PS4.
Oh, that's right.
PC and PS4 right now. But this game will run on the Switch and it'll definitely run on Xbox. So I'm sure it's going to come to everything eventually.
Yeah.
I think this is a matter of this game is complicated because of the fact that it's a different kind of, you know, it's a way that the game's just designed. So I have a feeling that they just want to keep it simple in the beginning. Nobody wants the mighty number 9 ever again.
Yeah.
So don't overscope your project that way. So, and as I say that, like a bunch of Mega Man fans just like get real quiet.
No, nobody liked Mighty Number 9.
Well, but everybody wanted to love Mighty Number 9. That's the difference. We all wanted to love it. You could have been everything, and then it turns out that it was just, you know, burnt toast. So anyway, so that's Fall Guys. Everybody needs to take a look at it. I am so incredibly hyped for this game. It might be, you know, outside of like the really big ones, it's probably one of my most anticipated games right now. Cannot wait.
Yeah. As I saw more coverage of it, I got more excited for it because I just, again, didn't understand what it was from the trailer. But I'm pumped. I want it to be split screen, and I want to play it with people in my apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Holden, you have one last thing you want to talk about before we jump into these awards?
I'm honestly good. Animal Crossing was my big game. And the more I think about it, like Cyberpunk, you know, I'm excited for that game, but I wasn't crazy about what was shown off at E3. You already mentioned Final Fantasy VII. You already talked about Luigi's Mansion.
Let's talk about Final Fantasy VII.
Wild.
Great. Well, we're going to have 6 awards we're going to give out in our first ever annual RAFies. Respawn, Aim, Fire, Ease. These are the RAFies. Some of them are legit awards.
We're going to sing
Some
Baby
of them are.
Beluga while we do it, by the way. 100%. That
Some
was
of
a
them are
deep
just
cut
dumb.
that you guys are obviously too young to understand.
I don't know what and I assumed it was like a spinoff of Baby Shark.
Nope. No.
Baby
do you know who
Beluga.
Raffi is? Do you know who Raffi is?
No.
Raffi is a children's musician from the 80s. And
Ooh. He's going to be our mascot.
Deep cut. He's kind of like Laurie Berkner, only like 10 years prior. Do you know who Laurie Berkner is?
Nope.
What? Well, you know what? Y'all don't have kids, so I get it. Raffi is like man. Listen, just I'm sure he's on Spotify. Just look him up. You'll understand what I mean. But anyway, the Raffi Awards, which by the way, I love the name.
Big Beluga, number
Baby Beluga.
one. Baby Beluga. Sorry,
Say
Baby
it
Beluga.
freaking right.
we've got 6 awards to give out. One of them, obviously, at the end of it will be culminating in Game of the Show. But I've given us 3 multiple choice answers, and then if we all feel very strongly about a 4th one, we are allowed to write in an answer to win these.
Sure.
It does not have to be a consensus as long as we have a majority vote. Our first category is Biggest Surprise of E3. Your nominees are Breath of the Wild sequel, Blair Witch, or Ghostwire Tokyo.
Can I throw another one in there? I'm surprised
Yes.
you didn't put this in.
What's your right
Fantasy
one?
Star Online 2.
I totally forgot about Phantasy Star Online 2. Oh,
Clearly, it's
man,
very
that's
surprising
coming.
for you.
That's coming. That was a big surprise. Yeah, I thought that game was dead for the West.
Yeah, I think Fantasy. I mean, I'm not a big Fantasy Star Online fan, but I just know the history of that game and how it was basically shafted by Sony to ever come to the West. And just to see it on Microsoft stage, even though it's coming to PlayStation 4, Switch, and Xbox and PC,
Yeah,
that was very surprising. Didn't see that
in
coming
a
at all.
free-to-play fashion, too.
Yeah.
Phantasy Star Online 2. I think that's a good write-in. That might be my guess, too. That might be my vote.
So how are we? Are we just gonna go around in this? So someone else
Cast
vote.
out your
I'm-
feelings.
I mean, I feel like the Breath of the Wild sequel announcement was pretty surprising, so that's what I'll vote for that.
That's your big one? All right.
That's my
Me too.
big one.
Yeah?
Me too. Yeah, I'm gonna put my vote behind that.
That was my original one, and I think I'm going to join you guys on Breath of the Wild sequel. Even though I predicted it, it was still the biggest surprise to me.
I mean, I can't really vote for Fantasy Star Online 2 because I'm never going to play that game. I've never played Fantasy Star Online before, so I'll just say Breath of the Wild as well. But Fantasy Star Online was surprising.
That was a surprise.
Biggest surprise of E3, Breath of the Wild sequel. Number 2, cutest game of E3. Animal Crossing New Horizons, Fall Guys, Link's Awakening remake.
Oh,
Now it's hard. It was
I'm
easy,
going to vote
but now
Fall
it's
Guys.
hard.
I'm going to
still
vote
gonna
Fall
go with
Guys.
Animal Crossing. Animal
I'm gonna say
Crossing.
Fall Guys too.
Animal Crossing is just so adorable. Yeah, Link's Awakening remake is really cute, but I mean, look at those little critter people and like the fact. Yeah,
Critter people.
critter people. I mean, yeah. Well, I could call them furries, but I'm not going to do that. That makes it way less cute, you know. Like, so.
On
I
the
gotta
flip
be
side,
on
I don't think
brand
you can
and be
call
at least
furries
kind of family.
critter people.
I let loose a little bit here, but I don't want to get crazy, you know. But I gotta say, Animal Crossing, man, like how cute is that whole game? Like Zelda, it hurts me to say it. Like it's like picking your favorite child, which you're not supposed to do, but everybody does. You're not supposed to, right? But like
You
Animal
said that
Crossing,
loud, Steven. Your kids could have heard you.
Nah, they're probably not asleep. So that's
Holden,
it.
what's
I said
your
Animal
choice?
Crossing. Somebody else pick something.
I said Fall
I think,
Guys.
Jared and I
Oh,
both said
because,
Fall
like,
Guys.
the other things have been cute before and many times before, and those are new creatures that are also very cute. So I'll give it to them.
I think they're cute. I think the things that they're doing are stupid and cute, too.
I mean, Zelda's not really been adorable like this before, though.
I don't know.
But I have to give it to Animal Crossing though, just because there's a personality to Animal Crossing games that add to that charm beyond just aesthetic. It's the personality of the characters, so I'm going to go with Animal Crossing. Is the
Wow.
cutest.
We are at a tie, and what happens in the event of a tie is we actually put out a poll on our Twitter. So those of you listening, we're going to put out a poll on Tuesday for cutest game. Make sure you vote. Next up, we have biggest disappointment. Avengers,
Oh, this is easy.
Gears 5, or in general the Xbox Scarlett reveal.
Avengers.
I think you're nuts. I'm fine with Avengers exactly how it was.
Explain to me what the game is, and then say why you're still a fan of it.
Well, I'm
It's
not- I'm
still
gonna
so confusing.
I'll tell
what the game
you
is.
after. I don't want to interrupt Jerica. She was talking.
Okay.
Oh, well, I sort of interrupted. I got excited because I agree, because I was really excited to see a lot of that game, and they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be here," and I don't really know what it. I'm a little confused. I don't know if that was an option.
I mean, being confused is certainly associated with disappointment, I think. I mean, they're not like similar words, but like if you were expecting to be, I think that's fine. If you're disappointed by being confused, okay, this is what the Avengers game is. The single player mode it's just a freaking it's like the single player adventure game where you're going to bounce from character to character. That's it. I mean, that's what it is. You're going to play through a story, and they'll be like, check out this part of the level where you're Iron Man, and then you're going to finish his segment, and they're going to jump cut you to the Hulk, and then you're going to jump cut to Scarlet Witch, or not Scarlet Witch. That would be crazy because they didn't announce her yet. To Black Widow, they're going to jump cut you to Captain America, and then that's the single player story. And then there's going to be multiplayer missions where you go to various places and do shenanigans. And you can play as those characters, but also a slowly revealing stack of other characters. And eventually Moon Knight. And if Moon Knight doesn't say, hey, Dracula, you fucking nerd, where's my money? I'm going to be really mad. He probably won't. That's a deep cut joke on the internet if you just look it up. But that's the game. That's the game. And I'm fine with it.
I think I agree with you. That's what it's going to be.
I think a lot of folks were expecting too much.
No, I disagree.
Yeah,
they hyped this game up and it's like Square's here and this is why, and like we didn't get enough substance.
If they had said Square's here showing Final Fantasy VII, that would have made way more sense.
Yeah, for sure.
That game, like it straight up doesn't look up to par, I think, for what a next-gen game or a current-gen game should look like. I'm really concerned about how the gameplay is going to feel good when you're switching between so many characters within a single level. I mean, it's hard to get one character feeling good. I mean, this is why Insomniac Spider-Man was so good, I mean, from what people tell me, because they tailored it to be just Spider-Man. They have to tailor it for so many different heroes, and they're going to increase those types of heroes. I would like to see what that gameplay looks like in order to really know what it is, and they didn't show that. So like it felt like, I'm not saying they're hiding it, but like
it
but
was
it felt
disappointing.
like
We didn't get to see it, right?
Yeah,
That's for sure.
I'm not disappointed about the game. I think the game is going to be fine, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to have fun with it. I am disappointed by the reveal and the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair.
Again,
Yeah, there we go.
If
That's
they're
fair.
not being super clear about it in terms of the announcement, that message didn't get fumbled when they were figuring out how to talk about that game. That message got fumbled during the development of the game, and it's carried over into its announcement.
I mean, I think
that's a big jump in logic there, but
that's an assumption. I mean, that is an assumption. They PR screwed up their messaging, therefore the people making the game aren't doing it right. I think.
But if someone explained to, oh, sorry, go ahead, Steven.
No, I mean, my only point is, I will concede. I mean, and I'm perfectly fine with everybody being disappointed with the reveal. I would have liked to have seen more also. So I think that's fine. I just don't think that this botched reveal, because I mean, it's botched is probably the right word, is indicative of what the final product is going to be. Like, I'm not ready to draw that conclusion because there's a year also. That game's getting delayed. I mean, it's not coming out in May.
yeah.
Probably because of the feedback that they got, because I know they're not changing character models, but like the response from the press who has gotten their hands on it has been tepid at best.
Yeah.
And so this was their unveiling. They got a lot of feedback, a lot of confusion, and then a lot of press were like, well, it's fine, I guess. And they don't want that, so obviously they need to tighten it up. I think the game eventually will be fine, but you're right. I will concede that the reveal was not the reason to put your big boy pants on and steal Stoney's slot. Final Fantasy VII, however, was.
Yeah. Avengers wins. Biggest disappointment at the Raffies, everyone.
Well,
shout it from the rooftops.
Let me finish my thought here as well. So, like, think of this as like No Man's Sky, where No Man's Sky had a botched introduction as well. The difference is that people loved that botched introduction and thought it was going to be an amazing game.
But they didn't botch it. They killed it. They just were. They lied.
The point is that what the message of what the game wasn't what the game ended up being. And I feel like what happened in this case is the development team had to talk to the PR people and say, this is what the game is. And the PR people clearly weren't getting it. And that's why we have this botched introduction right here. There's something wrong in the development side, just like there's something wrong with the development side of No Man's Sky. Because they were making these promises because they thought they could do it and they couldn't do it. And that led to mixed messaging going into marketing. And I think that's what's happening here as well, is that the development team has an idea what their game is. They obviously do, but it seems like it's kind of scattered all over the place. It's this single-player campaign that's separate from the multiplayer, but they talked about it as this like game as a service model akin to like a Destiny, which is just clearly that's not what this is. It was super confusing. That confusing message did not only happen for the event. I just don't see it that way. And
While
I
do
think that's a huge
appreciate
jump
your
in logic.
viewpoint and your opinion, we have decided the award, and the award goes to Avengers. We have to move on for time's sake, but thank you, Holden. Next, we have the Prove It Award for the game that we aren't quite convinced yet how it's going to work or whether it's going to come through in the way that it says it is. Watch Dogs
Avengers?
Legion, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Can we just write in Avengers? Because
Yeah.
I think Jedi's going to do exactly what they said it is. It's just going to be a run-of-the-mill Star Wars game. And Watch Dogs Legion is probably just going to be a Watch Dogs game, which is kind of a hot mess in the first place. And Animal Crossing is going to be glorious and magical, you monster.
That was my choice for this one, is that
Yeah,
Watch
mine
Dogs
too.
Legion was going to be like, they're saying everyone has a personality and a storyline and different. I was like, I don't see how that can possibly happen in this
Me
game.
neither.
With
I
all
don't.
of these NPCs and characters, like, that's what I'm leaning towards, is Watch Dog Legion.
I agree.
But I
But
think
Steven, it
that-
sounds like you're Avengers.
I think Avengers. I mean, they definitely have something to prove. I think that they'll do it. But I think they have to. They still have something to prove. I mean, at the y'all's reaction is enough, right? Like Holden's over here being like they screwed up the development on this game that's still got a year to go, right? Like,
I
And
didn't
I
screw up the
can't really-
development of it. I said they screwed up the messaging of what the game is. And so they messed up the development of it.
And also, too, because we haven't seen any gameplay, I don't want to throw it into this category yet. Because I still don't
That's
have,
fair.
like, something to measure it with. So, yeah,
That's fair.
I go with Watch Dogs on this one.
I don't think Watch Dogs has to really prove anything. They said, hey, this is what our concept is. Here's a demo that shows that concept. I mean, they had besides Final Fantasy, the biggest gameplay demonstration at the whole show to prove their idea and their
They
concept.
did, yeah.
And
We
I
saw
think they did
3
do
or 4
that.
characters.
And Avengers has literally everything to prove. What kind of game is it? That's a big thing to prove after you've announced your game. So I definitely am voting. I don't think Watch Dogs has to prove anything. I think they showed off their concept. It's just whether or not you believe them at this point. Not necessarily a matter of if they are able to pull off the concept they talked about.
I also have incredibly
belief
low
has everything to
expectations
do
of
with
Watch
proof.
Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it's like halfway cool and I get to like steal a Vespa and like crash it into stuff and like use a spider drone controlled by Estelle Getty, like that sounds great to me. You know, like that sounds great.
All right.
So I think
We have
we're
our
tied.
second tie. Twitter will solve it. Prove It is tied between Watch Dogs Legion and Avengers. Number 5, the award for hottest ghost. Not the most attractive ghost, but the game that wasn't there that ghosted us at E3 that we feel should have been there. Pikmin 4. Fable 4. Splinter Cell.
Well, you know, my vote's going to Fable 4, for sure.
I'm going to go with
I feel like
Pikmin
Fable 4 definitely like was of actually no, I was Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell was the shoe-in for all of these. Especially
No, it
since
wasn't.
Walmart Canada leaked it last year.
True.
As supposed to be part of that E3.
No, but
and then it even wasn't
that was
this
a leak. That was a leak. Miyamoto has said Pikmin 4 is basically done. He said that when the Wii U is still out. So I think that's the more of the where was it? I mean, a leak is a leak, but that's like from the head of the horse himself.
The
I don't
head
know why
of
I
the
said
horse.
that, but like you know what I mean.
Like the head of
I'm
the
getting tired
horse.
over here. It's getting late. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't vote for Pikmin 4. Like that's just I'm not disappointed that it wasn't there.
Yeah, I also don't give
that's
a
a good
shit about
Like
that
that's
game.
the other thing. It's like I have a very hard time like giving a shit about Pikmin.
Oh, come on.
And listen, I care
They're so
about a lot
cute.
of stuff as demonstrated. Like Pikmin is just like, yeah, it's cool. Like whatever, they're cute. I'll play them in Smash, I guess. I mean, I want to say Halo because that game was there, but it definitely wasn't there. But for real, let's be honest. But Fable 4 is, come on, just give me a logo. Give me a logo. I know Playground, you're doing it. Just come on, man, stop being so cheeky. I know you're a Brit, so like whatever, but like, give us Fable. Just tell us. A logo would have been fine. Could you imagine the friggin' stage if they just showed a Fable logo? Nothing else. Just a little bit of that music, maybe like some British humor, like a sheep. And then just boom, right into... that would have been so hype. Oh my God, I would have lost my damn mind.
I'm changing my answer.
What's your answer?
Answer is on your idea of like you want to say Halo because it was like barely there. I'm going to take that idea. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring?
But it was there.
Was it though?
It was there.
It was.
Hype off of that little thing.
It was the same information that had been leaked earlier, and literally almost nothing new outside of the art style. That's the same art style From Software has always had in their games.
It was there though.
Yeah, but I feel like I have left E3 in terms of Elden Ring, still with the same level of anticipation for when I'm actually going to see it. There was no like relief in being like, oh, it's real. There was no relief in that for me. It was just should have been something more. That game is not a next-gen game. It is a 2020 game.
So Steven's got Fable 4. Holden's got Elden Ring. I've got Splinter Cell. Jerica, what's your vote?
Oh, Fable 4.
Fable 4. All right. Fable 4 is our hottest ghost. Oh, that's right. You did say it first.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
I was jumping on her. She gotta have credit. She made that vote first.
And our final
I'm just
award,
a follower.
The last Raffy of the night, Game of the Show. Again, I have 3 options provided, but if we can agree on a write-in, that can work too. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I'm just kidding. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk 2077, and Watch Dogs Legion. I obviously vote
Final
for
Fantasy VII for sure.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII.
The argument that I heard that I think is relevant is like Cyberpunk could very well end up being the better game when they're all out, right?
Yeah.
But like if you want to think about 2019, 2017, I almost said that. If you want to think about like E3 2019, this is going to be the year I remember as the year they showed us the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like I'm going to forget about with the exception of the Keanu stuff. Like I'm going to remember the Final Fantasy VII reveal because reality is I don't really care about Final Fantasy VII. It's not even in my top 5. I just don't care, but I care a lot about the remake. Like, I think this is like video game history that we're watching happen. And I can't wait.
I honestly also had a really hard time coming up with a third contender before I plugged in Watch Dogs Legion.
It's easy. Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Yeah. All right, that's our...
Can we just talk briefly? 2020 is going to be freaking nuts.
It's going to be lit.
Hell yeah, it's going to be awesome.
You might say lit nuts.
Lit nuts. 2020 is going to be lit nuts.
No, I'll be honest with you. I would never say that.
That's wonderful. We're going to wrap up our episode. We have gone super long. We're going to move Game on Game Show to next week. We'll save that for next week. There are a couple of things I wanted to mention. If you are a lifelong friend and listening to this, you have a couple of ways you can interact with us. One of them is on Twitter. One of them is through our email, respawnaimfire@gmail.com. You can also be a patron for our Patreon at patreon.com/respawnaimfire. You get the ability to vote on our barf. Right now we're playing Borderlands 2, but next month is up to you. We've provided you a few options and a write-in option. So if you're interested in playing along with us in July, go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire, drop us $1, vote on what we're playing next month. And then we also have hashtag thanks for creating. This week, you are going to thank the developer of your favorite E3 game this year. So whatever that might be for you, I have a feeling we all know what mine is. We're going to do that. And then finally, there was something else we have a new podcast. Affable Idiots is our new podcast. Hopefully by the time everyone's listening to it, it's available everywhere. It's currently available on Google Play and Spotify and SoundCloud. iTunes will hopefully be done by Tuesday. We just recorded our second episode this week where we ranked the top five ice at fast food restaurants. And it got into a heated battle over who had better ice. So check that out, Affable Idiots. Again, you can follow us on Twitter and hopefully on podcast services everywhere as soon as you're listening to this. We're going to wrap up. I'm going to go around, give everyone a chance to say who they are, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm everything at Chad Mike Innes. You can follow me everywhere. And I'm on Respawning Fire and Affable Idiots. Holden, you're at Holden DePardo on Twitter. And Call Rye on Instagram. CAULRYE.
That is right.
Steven, where do people find you?
You can find me just about everywhere at Engaged Family Gaming. But you can also find me on Twitter at Dutesmania, DUETZMANIA.
Dope. Jerica, tell the people.
Yeah. Once again, my name is Jerica, and you can follow me on the Twits, at the Twits, which is Twitter.
On the Twits!
At glitch_girl, and you spell that GURL.
2 G's.
2, can't forget it.
That's right. Perfect. Thank you both so much for being here again this week and wrapping up our E3 with us. Until next week, here's our usual sign-off.